Traffic and weather brought to you by UCCU. Auto loan rates as low as 4.74% APR. What's going on, Cam?
Well, right now we're looking at a very particularly heavy spot of traffic. This is going to be on the transition ramp from northbound I-15 as you come through the city onto westbound I-80. It looks like from the cameras here that they had that briefly closed for a minute. I would guess it was likely due to some sort of debris in the road for just a closure that's that short, but we'll find out more as that details come in. Taking a look at the rest of I-15, you're going to run into some slowing coming through the I-80 junction, and you're also going to run into some slowing at the south interchange, but that's just some typical slowdowns for this time of morning. Otherwise, state roads are looking good. The traffic has mostly disappeared off the Mountain View corridor. Still a little bit slow on the northbound Bangor Highway at the 4100 South. Jason?
And pretty much back to normal if you're southbound I-15 from Ogden to downtown Salt Lake City. It's going to run basically 30 minutes of travel time through that entire stretch. 89 Legacy and the West Side Belt are also looking good. You don't have any accidents or delays on any of the other side streets, and you're looking great in the canyons right now as well. I'm Jason Jones in the KSL Traffic Center.
We got a 30% chance of rain today with a high of 90, so a little cooler than yesterday. Much cooler tomorrow, 81 for a high tomorrow with a 70% chance of thunderstorms. Good chance on Friday, too. Right now, it's 79 degrees downtown.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
9 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Amanda Dixon. Our top story this hour, a federal judge has ruled against the Trump administration in the case of the president's push to further tighten requirements for mail-in voting. KSL News Radio's Adam Small has details.
President Trump's executive order would have required the Postal Service to not deliver mail-in ballots to anyone in the country whose name was not on a nationwide voter roll. Not only have we seen election officials here in Utah and other states push back on that, now a federal judge is telling the Postal Service directly to not follow the president's order, calling it unconstitutional.
When you make voting more difficult, more confusing, when you add unnecessary steps to the process, you inevitably decrease turnout.
League of Women Voters of Utah President Catherine Bealey was just one person locally to criticize the president's order. The Trump administration is now asking the Supreme Court to step in. Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
New Jersey Senator Cory Booker is in Utah today. He will be hosting a series of fundraising events, some going to Utah Democratic campaigns and others to the Booker Victory Fund. Utah Democratic Party Chairman Brian King says he is excited for Booker's visit and the future. Our top national story this hour from ABC News, former Marine Robert Gilman is back in the U.S. after years of Russian detention. But his family says they still have their concerns about his health.
His family said after years of horrible treatment in the Russian prison, he became essentially catatonic, unable to eat or respond, and suffering from a severe bout of pneumonia. President Trump posting on social media he had spoken to Russia's President Putin, and soon afterward, Gilman was given a pardon on humanitarian grounds.
ABC News Chief Global Affairs Correspondent Martha Raddatz. Your money at this moment. Let's see where the Dow is down 35 points at this hour. We're at 53,756. Coming up, we've got rain on the way the next few days. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 9:02. Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Thinking about replacing your windows? Choose the company that builds and installs them right here in Utah. Advanced Window Products is Utah's local window and door manufacturer that sells directly to homeowners. Hi, I'm Nate Orchard, the mayor of Sac Lake City with Advanced Window Products. At Advanced Window Products, there are no dealer fees, no middleman markups, and no extra costs to cover someone else's profit. From manufacturing to installation, every step is handled by Advanced Window Products' local team. Every window is custom built in Salt Lake City for Utah's homes and backed by one of the strongest warranties in the industry, a lifetime warranty covering labor, glass, and parts. Even better, it's fully transferable to the next homeowner. Right now, get $2,000 off when you purchase 10 or more windows. Financing is available, and Dominion Energy rebates may help you save even more. Call 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100. Or visit us at advancedwindows.com. That's 801-850-9100 or advancedwindows.com.
Mike Rowe here with another fun fact. If your concrete is cracked or uneven, you can actually lift it back up.
Whether it's a sinking driveway, a patio, or a sidewalk, do yourself a favor. Call Groundworks. I spent some time working with these guys. They're the real deal. Their people are trained and certified to lift your concrete slabs. Schedule a free inspection with Groundworks, the foundation and waterproofing experts.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Bad driving habits are hard to break, but good driving habits are easy to form, especially when they can lead to a discount on your auto insurance. With Farm Bureau Financial Services, the safer you drive, the more you save. Drivers like you are saving an average of $351 per vehicle. So buckle up, learn more, and find an agent at fbfs.com/save. Individual savings results may vary. Farm Bureau Property and Casualty Insurance Company, Western Agricultural Insurance Company.
911, tell me exactly what happened.
My son and his wife and their 2 children haven't responded.
Susan Powell disappeared on a snowy morning in 2009.
And I said, Josh, where are you? You need to get home.
And her husband will never be held accountable.
Your wife is missing, Josh.
Yeah, but
and you want to think about it for a couple of days?
I'd had this overwhelming feeling that he had done something to her already.
I'm Dave Cawley, host of the podcast Cold.
Then he starts making phone calls to Susan's phone.
Hello, Susan. We are on our way back.
It's the deepest of deep dives into this tragic tale of abuse.
Where was Josh when Susan disappeared?
I don't know.
Of one mother's desperate attempt to escape.
This is me, covering all my bases.
Help prevent it from happening again.
Our focus has and continues to be finding Susan.
Listen and learn by following Cold wherever you get your podcasts.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by UCCU. You deserve to love where you bank. And here's Cormac Bone.
Just the last of your freeway delays working their way out. It's heaviest in Utah County, northbound I-15, and that's from about South University Boulevard all the way up past Center Street in Provo, nearly reaching the University Parkway in Orem, actually. Those are residual after a crash. And then in Salt Lake County, we are still a little slow, northbound I-15 at Bangerter Highway after Point of the Mountain. Then some light delays both directions of I-15 at the South Interchange, and then a long stretch of slowdowns northbound from 4500 South up to 13th South. Earn double points on gas and groceries this summer, plus 10,000 bonus points when you open a new Cypress CU Rewards Visa. Learn more at cypresscu.com. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
We've got a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms today. A high of 90, so a little cooler. Much cooler tomorrow and Friday. The high 81 tomorrow, 82 on Friday. And we have a good chance of showers both Thursday and Friday. Right now it's 79 degrees. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio. Back to school. Special coverage on KSL News Radio.
Well, as we talked about yesterday, there are thousands of Utah students who are back in class today. In fact, some of them are probably in second period about now. The Granite and Iron school districts went back today. A few other districts head back later this week, and most of the rest of the districts will head back next week.
And, you know, with the new school year, there's a lot of stress and uncertainty and anxiety. I'm not just talking about the kids. I'm talking about parents, too, and teachers. But I want to tell you, just we're dealing with a brand new junior high student. So our daughter, Jazzy, she's technically our granddaughter. I took her yesterday to get her first school ID and pick up a Chromebook. She was so nervous to even go into the cafeteria. We took 15 minutes where she felt like she was going to throw up. She had tears in her eyes. And I am really worried about her transitioning from elementary to junior high. She has a higher level of anxiety than most kids.
Right.
But even with that, I was, look, I can remember 50 years ago my first day of junior high. And my 7th grade year was not a good one. I was bullied. It was mean. Kids are mean, right? My family didn't have enough money. I didn't have the right kind of clothes. And I'm like, 50 years later, I'm still worried about junior high.
You know, there was no worse time for me in my school life than 7th grade, going from grade school to junior high, because grade school was easy.
Right.
It was popular. I was having fun. And all of a sudden we had all these other grade schools that were assimilating into our junior high. I was in the Granite School District myself. this would have been almost 60 years ago. Anyway, and it was the only time in my life when I really thought, this is bad. I'm in bad shape. And I was lucky because I was never bullied.
Yeah.
But I was so petrified of being bullied that I was always looking over my shoulder.
Yeah.
And my whole 7th grade year, I thought, after looking back now, I'm like, what was the problem? I mean, I just thought, I'm never going to make it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm in 7th grade. It was crazy, but it was a hard time for me. High school was great. The remainder of junior high was great. But that first year, like your kid's doing right now, your daughter, it was very, very hard time for me.
I am legitimately worried for her and about her. We're trying to talk about other options, right? I want to be supportive, but I also want her to know that there are other options maybe.
When does it actually start? School?
Next Wednesday, but Monday night is back to school night, and then Tuesday they have a special. Only the 7th graders go, so that they can find all 8 of their classes without the 8th and 9th graders there.
Such a great idea.
Yeah. So anyway, so we at least know where the bus stop is. It's right by our house, so that part's good. Look, I'm looking at a study too. This is from the American Institute of Stress. She's not alone. 75% of high school students and 50% of middle schoolers consistently feel stress, right? So the kids are feeling stress. The parents are stressed. I think the teachers might be stressed and have first day jitters.
But I think that the schools, Holly, your daughter's case is a perfect example, do what they can to alleviate that by doing this, like bring the young ones back for a day before the school year starts. Let them walk through the class so that they're not walking into these hallways of big kids that they don't know any of them, and they're like, whoa, these people look really important.
Yeah.
Then go there and be a 7th grader for a day with all the other 7th graders.
Yeah. And I think that will help, actually, because she will know kids, of course, from her elementary school that are in this school. We're in this weird situation down in Alpine School District where next week will be the last first day of kids going to Alpine School District. And so she's going to a school this year that will not be in our school district next year. We'll belong to a different school district.
Oh, that's too bad.
So I'm worried about that too,
that'll
right?
be tough. Right.
So
but at least she'll go
this
with
year,
her friends or neighbors.
This year,
probably.
yeah. So I think this first day school jitters, it's something that we've all experienced. I experienced it going back, not so much, to be honest, not so much with the bachelor's or master's degree, but when I started a PhD program and I was 53, I think, when I started it, I was like, this is really nerve-wracking.
Well, first day of school stress, and stress in general isn't limited to the kids.
Right.
Parents suffer it too. And I guess I was spared this part of it as a parent. I just thought, we'll be fine. But there are a lot of parents who really feel stress about going back to school. And I guess if you had several kids, we had 3, which was a bit, but I never felt the stress. But apparently, according to a study that I'm looking at here, 71% of parents have had to hide financial stress from their children.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And I was telling Amanda earlier on the morning news that I actually got a pitch from this organization. It's called badcredit.org. But they're like, hey, we saw or heard some of your coverage on Back to School, and I wanted to let you know about this. And so, 71% have tried to hide financial stress. 53% of the parents who did conceal their stress, they delayed a bill or cut a necessity to cover back to school costs, compared with 39% of parents who didn't hide it. Look, I've told you before, when we had the big clump of kids all going back to school at the same time, especially in those junior high and high school years, we were spending more on back to school than we did on Christmas. And that's significant.
And I can understand parents thinking, I'm willing to spend whatever I can to make my kids' experience good, to make that first week or month so good, even if I have to put myself at some stress, because you want your kid, you don't want to have to suffer what you did yesterday, which is, bring your kid in with the friends and have the right clothes. Yeah. To me, it was the clothes.
Yeah.
I had to...
And we
wanted to blend in.
We had the financial constraints of none of you get name brand, but because they grow all the time, right? It's like, we're going to go to Walmart. We're going to get you a pair of jeans there, right? I mean, it was those types of discussions. But when you're buying clothes and backpacks and shoes and stuff for almost 20 kids. It adds up.
Yeah, I just remember, I mean, you could go anywhere you wanted to buy jeans.
Yeah.
But you had to wear 501s. At our school, you had to wear Levi's 501s.
I think that was the thing, because I remember 501s too. They were just really a thing.
And you had to have penny loafers with a penny in them.
Yeah, no,
you
not
know
me.
what I mean? It's just what we wore. And
so when I started junior high 50 years ago, it was bell bottoms. Right, I had to have bell bottoms and these really funky. I had this funky shirt that had peace symbols and stuff on it, and I remember being very proud to pick it out because I did. I picked it out myself.
Yeah,
so.
I remember picking out some clothes and then going to school thinking, "What the heck was I thinking?"
I know when bell bottoms came back around, I'm like, "Look, they were bad the first time."
Hey, well, we're gonna have some more back to school coverage coming up at 10:30, including a conversation with the Granite School District Superintendent about this new year.
But coming up next on Inside Sources, new numbers out today show that inflation cooled last month slightly, but gas prices actually came down. But that's not the case anymore. 2 weeks into August, right on the money. Detailed coverage coming up after the break.
Hey, even though we are talking about getting back to school, there's still some time for summer. We still have 4 weeks of warm weather before it starts cooling down, and Soda, by pure coincidence, has a 4-week offer right now. Call 866-800-SODA, mention KSL News Radio, and you can get 4 weeks for free. And grab it before the summer's over. No injections, no awful side effects, just a natural way to lose weight, which is exactly what I did. So you can pay to get quick fixes. You can learn, or you can just learn how to get the weight off yourself. Soda had nutritionists. They have them. They were great for me. They can help you get to the root causes of your challenges. You learn lifelong habits that last after the program is done. No lifelong medication, no pills. Just call 866-800-SODA, mention KSL News Radio, and you can get 4 weeks for free. They told me I could probably plan on somewhere between 2 to 4 pounds a week. After 7 weeks, I'd lost 30 pounds. Kept it off for 4 months. It's been great for me. Soda has been great, and I would say this one more time. SOTA stands for State of the Art.
Why settle for a basic night out when all tickets for Utah Symphony and Utah Opera performances are now on sale? And for a very limited time, premium main floor seats to most performances are $29 or less. Enjoy splurge-worthy nights without the splurge with events like Rossini's Cinderella with the Utah Opera, Hocus Pocus in concert, and Saint-Saëns Organ Symphony. Don't wait. Prices go up after August 15th. More at usuo.org/August.
The kids might be headed back to school, but summer's not over for your air conditioner. What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and we still have plenty of hot days ahead. So if you haven't had your air conditioner serviced yet, I got some good news for you. Today, Wednesday, August 12th, Any Hour Services is having a surprise one-day sale for any homeowners listening. Normally, we charge $124 to tune up your air conditioner, but if you call today and mention this ad, we'll tune up your air conditioner for only $29. That's a $95 savings. Call Any Hour Services right now at 801-443-7400. Manufacturers say annual maintenance can help your air conditioner cool your home better and prevent unexpected breakdowns. 801-443-7400. The biggest reasons people don't get their air conditioner serviced each year is they forget. So right now, while you're thinking about it, call Any Hour Services, lock in this $95 savings, and schedule your $29 air conditioner tune-up. Call Any Hour Services at 801-443-7400. You can Google Any Hour Services. You can even schedule online at anyhourservices.com.
The KSL News Radio Movie Show comes to My Hearing Centers Friday from 10 to 1. But first, discover what My Hearing Centers can do for you. My Hearing Centers uses advanced technology to diagnose and treat hearing loss. These comprehensive evaluations determine the best treatment options. Then enjoy lifetime support with regular check-ins, cleaning, and maintenance. Call My Hearing Centers at 801-701-1629. 801-701-1629 for more details. My Hearing Centers has offices from Ogden to St. George.
You can't escape a traffic jam. Know what else you can't escape? Seasonal allergies. And you might think you can avoid that coffee stain until... Oh, really? You can't escape a lot of things in life, but you can escape prediabetes. Prediabetes captures 1 in 3 adults. There are usually no signs of prediabetes. In fact, most people don't even know they have it. But with early diagnosis, you can change the outcome and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. Take action by taking the 1-minute risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. You might not be able to escape having this song stuck in your head. but you can escape prediabetes. Go to doihaveprediabetes.org today. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
Meet Morgan Jones. Morgan is about to step into a world unknown to most, thanks to Progressive's Renters Insurance, a place of fresh linens and turn-down service. You see, Morgan temporarily vacated her apartment and has gone to a hotel because a pipe burst in her apartment. A pipe that made her sense of reality and apartment ceiling all come crashing down. Luckily, Morgan checked into Progressive's Protection Zone. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The new Inside Sources.
Inflation cooled just a hair last month, but it's still above where the feds want it to be. But even with that decrease, prices for just about everything remain high.
Yeah, and so why the disconnect? You have to wonder, could this be just a teeny tiny slip in inflation? Did that push the feds to lower interest rate, or will it? Especially when we get mixed job report we had last week, something like we actually lost jobs.
Lost jobs, right. So right on the money. How will this affect your bottom line? Joining us now is our friend, Dr. Michael Kofed, tenured assistant professor of economics at the university. Tenured associate professor at the University of Tennessee at Knoxville. Thanks for joining us, Dr. Kofed.
Thank you, Holly and Greg. Good to be back.
And congratulations, by the way. So talk to us about these numbers. I mean, I saw one report that said inflation had cooled slightly, but was still above what it should be, and another one that said it remained about the same, which I guess maybe two ways of saying the same thing. But what can you tell us about the latest inflation numbers, and should we be concerned?
Sure. It's one thing to keep in mind is that the Federal Reserve strives for what's called a 2% target. So there's always going to be a little bit of inflation because we want to see the economy grow. We also don't want full deflation because we don't want to see home values dip and then have people foreclose on their mortgages. And so what the Fed strives for is 2%. Last month, we got 3.5%. In July, now it's saying 3.4%. That's still way above. That's almost 60% higher than target, which is showing that the prices are accelerating faster than the Fed would like.
So I wanted to ask about either the core prices, the consumer price index. That's not as positive.
Yeah. So what I tell people is these indices, how they construct them, is imagine you go to your favorite Harmon's grocery store, maybe out in Cottonwood Heights or somewhere, and you put this together, the same basket of goods that you would buy on any given day. And then a month later, what they do is they send these shoppers to the same Harmon's grocery store again with the same basket of goods that they think a typical household would want to buy, and they compare the prices across a time span. And so what they found was from June to July, prices still went up. And from July 2026 to 2025, prices were up as well. Now, there's some goods that move all the time. So food moves all the time, gasoline moves all the time. And that might be independent. That might be some current event that's a one-off. And so there's two measures we think about. One is the consumer price index. One is the core, which takes away gasoline and food and looks at just those kind of more stable prices. But people say, well, I pay a lot in gasoline and food, so I want to care about those as well. What we're seeing is those two indices moving constantly the same direction, which gives us the same kind of lay of the land of where the economy is going.
And Dr. Kofed, does the fact that and I don't pretend to know economics, except I've learned a ton from you in the last couple of years, but the fact that the Dow continues to climb and it's sort of near record or at record territory make us conclude that people are still spending at a pretty good pace, notwithstanding inflation, and maybe that's a good thing? Yeah,
it's always good. We're a very consumer-based economy, and the American consumer is undefeated and wanting to buy stuff, it turns out. And so we are seeing that consumers are still purchasing. Where I like to look then is, what are they purchasing with? Are they purchasing with credit card? Are they paying with cash? Because maybe what happens is they're overextending themselves on their credit cards, and that could tell us again where the economy is going. We are seeing credit card liabilities go up, prices are going up, and what this little dip is, again, because it's just a survey, it's just an estimate, and so estimates will wobble. So 3.5 to 3.4 for me sees more of a flatlining. We also saw some gas prices come down as oil prices went down, as we thought the Strait of Hormuz was going to open. And then over the last week, we're like, it's not going to open anytime soon. It's looking like, and prices have escalated again over the last week. I'm thinking August is going to come in probably at 3.6 or more.
So you mentioned credit card debt, and I had heard something, so I just barely Googled it. Thank you, Dr. Google. Credit card debt has risen to $1.26 trillion, nearing an all-time record. So it sounds to me like people are putting just the essentials, including gas and groceries, on credit cards.
Yeah, sometimes with the credit card debt data, if I know that I'm getting a promotion, so academics do this all the time. I send out my new PhD students, they get faculty jobs, they get paid in the fall, but they have to move, so they're going to put some of their spending on their credit cards. But they're happy to do that because they know they're getting a higher paycheck in the fall. If that's going on, that's okay. That shows some consumer confidence. Where we worry about credit card debt is if I start seeing people default on those payments or are late on those payments. That's what scares me, because that means people are not confident and they're trying to put a stopgap because they're seeing their purchasing power decline.
Professor Kofod, I've got several younger family members, a daughter and a stepdaughter, who are in the process of purchasing or refinancing a home and hoping that they can get better interest rates. But my experience seems to be that as inflation continues to climb, maybe more than the Fed would like, they're a little bit less reluctant. There's a question here, I promise you. They're a little bit less reluctant, or more reluctant, I should say, to lower interest rates. Do you think that course is going to stay in this instance as well?
I believe so. I mean, there is an eternal trade-off with dealing with interest rates. If I push interest rates down, inflation pops up and employment pops up. So that's going to juice the labor market. If I move interest rates high, then what happens is prices go down, but unemployment goes up. So people start to lose their jobs. In traditional worlds, we have inflation with an overheating economy. There's lots of jobs out there that's pushing prices up, so we need to increase the rate to cool the labor market and pull prices down. But we're in a weird economy right now where we're losing jobs while prices are going up because we have an energy shock because of the Iran war and the tariffs. And so now the Fed doesn't know what to do, because if I raise rates, then it's going to make it hard for your daughter and stepdaughter to purchase a home or refinance. And that's going to hurt the labor market even more, but it will pull prices down again. But if I decrease rates like the president wants, then inflation will spike even more and will juice the labor market. I think the Fed right now is thinking with 3.5% inflation, way over target, they're going to have to hold steady or even increase their rates, which is just going to make affordability harder in the short run, but in the long run should have prices start to calm.
Is this precedented? Like, have we seen this type of economy before? And if so, what can we expect to look for different markers?
Yeah, we have before. So this is a little bit similar to the 1970s oil crisis that did in the Ford and then did in the Carter administration. And what you had was Jimmy Carter then appointed Paul Volcker to the Fed. And Volcker said, I am going to sacrifice the labor market for inflation. I'm going to drive interest rates up. And folks are upset. I have a 6+% mortgage now that we moved. I don't like it either. But my parents like to remind me that they paid 15%.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. Yep. Yep.
And so we've forgotten how large those interest rates were under the Volcker regime because they needed to get inflation under control. Now, what happened in 81, 82? We had high unemployment, and Reagan didn't look like he was actually going to get elected if you look at those poll numbers. But that was because the fiscal authority, the Congress and president, were willing to support Volcker in this action to get inflation under control.
And it seems like we've only got maybe 30 seconds that the war and, like you said, tariffs are really wreaking havoc on the economy as well. And the public's not comfortable doing much with those two unknowns.
No, and the two scary things right now is that the strategic oil reserve in the United States is emptying out. That will shoot prices even higher because we won't have the buffer anymore. And our military's munitions reserves, to put on my old Army hat again, is running out as well, which then gives the Iranians more negotiating power.
Yeah, wow. Okay, thanks, Dr.
Thank you.
Kofed, and congrats on your tenure.
Promotion and tenure.
When we come back on Inside Sources, state leaders say they're preparing for the worst with the Great Salt Lake. And if Utah experiences another bad winter, the Great Salt Lake reaches new record low, then what? Healing the Great Salt Lake. We'll get an in-depth conversation on what that could mean when we come back.
9:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Amanda Dixon. Our top story this hour, Millard County is preparing for potential flooding and debris flow as monsoonal moisture rolls in on top of the Widemouth 2 fire. KSL News Radio's Reagan Edelman reports.
Millard County Commissioner Trevor Johnson says they're no strangers to fires.
Most of the largest fires in the state's history have happened to be in Millard County.
But he says while they have had to prepare for flooding in the past, the potential of it coming so close to the Widemouth 2 fire is frightening, especially because it's still burning.
We're trying to fight a fire, but get permission to go up in some of these areas that are still in the burn area and try to get ready for flooding. So it really has been more stressful than maybe past fires just because of the way this monsoon season is playing out.
He says they're taking precautions, lots of sandbagging within communities, and they're clearing out the channels, creeks, ponds, and existing catch basins in hopes of preventing debris flows. Johnson says that since he's been in the commission, they've never flooded because they've been so prepared. But after seeing what happened in Beaver County, they're a little bit more concerned and trying to prepare even more than they have in the past. Reagan Edelman, KSL News Radio.
Our top national story this hour from ABC News, a new round of severe weather swept through the Midwest, bringing high winds and heavy rainfall. ABC's Sophie Flay has more.
Blinding rain making driving treacherous. In the Chicago area, winds topping 90 miles per hour, multiple tornadoes touching down. The storm's also hammering Indiana. The downpours triggering flash flooding, washing out roads and leaving drivers stranded. Across the storm zone, hundreds of thousands of customers left without power. The outages expected to last for days in some areas.
At least one person has died in connection to the weather. Your money at this moment, the Dow is off just 6 points. We're at 53,785. We've got some weather coming our way. Rain this week. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 9:32. A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
Looking to transform your kitchen or bathroom? Discover the difference at AMC Building Materials. New arrivals are here. Explore the latest shaker-style cabinets, sleek European-style flat panel cabinets, and beautiful new quartz countertops in today's most popular colors. With a 25,000 square foot showroom and a warehouse in Salt Lake City, AMC keeps a wide selection of the most popular cabinets and countertops in stock. So many in-stock cabinet styles are available for same-day purchase and pickup, making it easy to start your project right away. Enjoy factory direct pricing, free design, free in-home measurements, and expert installation. Most remodeling projects are completed in as little as 10 days. Visit the AMC Building Materials showroom at 3678 South 700 West or schedule your free estimate today at amckitchensaltlakecity.com. AMC Building Materials. Come see the difference today.
Every year summer ends and the kids go back to school. This year I'm going back too, at My Computer Career. They'll help me get the skills and certifications that can get me noticed by top employers in months, not years. Now I'm on a fast track to a high-demand IT career where the rewards can finally match my value. Visit mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. That's mycomputercareer.edu. It's never too late to go back to school.
Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight illnesses like pneumococcal pneumonia and RSV. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and can help protect you from getting really sick. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. See more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
This is Utah tax attorney Jordan Wilcox. Don't wait. End your tax nightmare now.
So I needed a tax attorney because of my outstanding balance. It was like $59K. I got the letter from the IRS stating that we could seize your house. And my son lives with me and he's also on the house. You know, I didn't take those threats lightly. As a mom, I'm like, yeah, you're not going to take my kids' stuff. So I did find Jordan Wilcox and I decided to give him a call.
Let us fight the IRS for you.
So the IRS, I owe them $59,000 and my settlement was $560. I actually cried. I felt like the weight of the world came off my shoulders.
This is Utah tax attorney Jordan Wilcox. Let's solve your IRS nightmare. Visit endtaxworry.com. Endtaxworry.com.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by UCCU. Learn how to save more this summer at uccu.com. And here's Cormac Bone.
Freeways have really calmed down at the end of the morning drive. Just a little slow. Northbound I-15 at 13th South. Northbound Mountain View corridor still pretty dense at 3500 South and West Valley. We do have a crash eastbound on the 201 freeway right after Bangerter Highway. Looks like they're only in the right shoulder, so not causing any slowdowns as you come into Salt Lake on the 201. Seeing cracked, curling, or missing shingles on your roof? Don't wait. Save big during S&S Roofing's huge summer sale. From a small repair to a full replacement, SNSRoofingUtah.com. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
It's been so hot this summer that 90 today will feel cooler with a slight chance of thunderstorms. Much cooler tomorrow and Friday. We'll only get up to 81 on Thursday, 82 on Friday with a good chance of thunderstorms both days. Right now it's 79 degrees. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio. Healing the Great Salt Lake.
Well, with the bad winter we had and the hot summer that we're currently having, Holly, it's not a great outlook for the Great Salt Lake, even though Utahns have been really good about water conservation this year, and some groups have actually donated more of their water shares to the lake.
So the lake is approaching one of its lowest levels in recorded history. Water managers say things could have been a whole lot worse this year, but that doesn't mean the worst couldn't happen next year.
Yeah, so Healing the Great Salt Lake, KSL News Radio's Adam Small has been digging into plans from state leaders to help the lake just in case we have another severely lackluster winter, which we are going to have at some point. Maybe not this year, but
we'll have another bad one.
Bad winters are ahead of us.
So we have in studio with us Adam Small. So thanks for joining us, Adam. Maybe do you want to just catch us up where we are right now today with the lake?
Yeah, so we measure the lake in feet above sea level. So right now it's currently sitting at 4190.4, so 4,190 feet and
above
about
sea level.
Half foot above sea level. That's only a few inches, maybe even a couple inches above what was at the time the lake's record low in 2021 of 4190.2. So we're only 0.2 feet away from that.
Oh, wow.
But we are about close to 2 feet higher than the all-time record low in 2022. That was 4188.5. So 2 feet higher than all-time record low, but only inches from tying second worst level ever recorded in 2021.
Yeah, and you had an interesting conversation with Department of Natural Resources Commissioner Joel Ferry, who said the lake could have been worse if Utahns hadn't worked so hard to conserve water.
It would be significantly lower without our efforts. So we are making a difference. We are making it better. And these continued efforts, at some point we come out of the drought, those continued efforts will make a difference to where we can recover and see the Great Salt Lake back to a healthy level. It's going to take time. This is hard. It's taken us 40 years to go from the record highs to the record lows. It's going to take us years to recover out of this situation.
I think one of the things that strikes me about that is, yes, we have had an impact as people who live in Utah, but there's some weather stuff we just can't control, right? So we had a no-pack winter, right, with no snowpack. And I'm wondering what you have found. In fact, if you would share with our listeners, you just drove out to Antelope Island. What was that like?
I would encourage, and I would say this just first, anyone who wants to see firsthand the plight of the Great Salt Lake, go to Antelope Island. This is not an advertisement or anything.
Right.
It's more just, if you want to see it, Antelope Island is one of the best places to see it because, for one, context, Antelope Island has been a peninsula, not an island, since the early 2000s.
Wow.
Farmington Bay has been largely exposed since right after the Olympics game in 2002. It's been that bad. Obviously, it's gotten a lot worse since hitting the record lows. But, I drove out there. When you're driving in on the causeway, it starts out pretty dry because obviously the lake hasn't risen to the point that it's going out to the end of the causeway in a while. But you drive in. The last time I'd been to Antelope Island was, I believe it was 2024 when the lake hit a 7-year high after those 2 great winters we had. And when you drive in, there was more water in Farmington Bay than I'd ever seen since living here. And I'm like, holy cow, this is amazing. It was winter, snow-capped mountains. It was beautiful. And I'm like, we're making progress. But then just a couple of years later, you drive in and the water, which was not just hitting up against the end of the causeway as you drive onto the actual island, it's not even touching the causeway anymore. The visible decline in the lake is it's astonishing. And then when you go on a hike on Buffalo Point, you can see all the other different beach lines. You can see what's the lake bed and where the water should be. You see the lake bed's so easy to distinguish because it's so light. It's almost like white sand. Go to Antelope Island, look at the beach lines, and just see how much of it is exposed, and you'll get a glimpse of, holy cow. And also just look at Farmington Bay as a whole. Look from the end of the island out towards Salt Lake City. That should all be covered with water, and it is predominantly a dust field.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we go out to the Bear River Bird Refuge a couple times a year just to check out the birds because they're so amazing coming through there. And there are these real weird areas, Adam, where they say don't drive your car here because the road sinks.
Oh,
well, you're nowhere near the water.
I mean,
it's
used to be marshy.
Yeah, I guess at times.
Wow.
It's probably been years since we've had even those issues.
Wow.
Yeah, Bear River Bay has been exposed for a long time too. I can't remember which year based off the satellite images, but another thing they've told us to do in recent years is because one thing that helps minimize the dust that blows off the lake bed that we've been talking about so much is actually the natural salt from the lake. When we let it crust over when it dries, that actually helps it prevent the dust from breaking loose and blowing over. So they've actually told people stop driving on the lake bed as a whole because when you drive on it, you're breaking up that
barrier.
Yeah, the barrier to the dust, and it just makes that what's already a bad dust situation worse.
Before we get to your BYU professor, I wanted to ask you a question that a texter just sent in. Antelope Island, I know it has buffalo. Can they wander off the island since it's not an island?
I actually asked that question to DNR a couple of years ago, and the answer, they were like, no, we're not worried about this happening. But it is a good question because they could walk across the lake bed if they wanted to, but I think they stay there because, number one, I don't think they want to be around a million cars, and two, they have the water sources they need. They have the habitat. I mean, they've lived there for decades, and I think comfortably they have the habitat they desire.
No incentive to wander at this point.
Yeah, I think it's the incentive. And I think maybe there was an old fence or two out on Farmington Bay. I can't remember for sure, but yeah, no risk of that. But a good question to the texter, for sure.
Yeah, you were able to interview BYU ecology professor and head of the nonprofit Grow the Flow, Ben Abbott. He said that he believes everything the state is doing is a great step in the right direction, but we still haven't cut nearly enough of our water use to save the Great Salt Lake.
The number that's going to really shift the lake's behavior is new water to the lake. And that number is, again, probably in the 50 to 80,000 acre feet range. And that's just not enough to affect lake level in a measurable way. We need to be conserving and delivering 1 million acre feet of water a year to restore the lake to a healthy level by the Olympics. And so we're still far under 10% of the way there. But I actually think this is a story of success, or at least potential success, because we have seen such a shift in the commitment to the lake, and the farming community, first and foremost, really is coming to the table saying, how do we help fix this problem? We've also seen great leadership from cities, the state legislature, and recently the federal government as well.
So how do you get to a million acre feet?
Well, the number that Ben gave me in the interview was that if we want to see that amount of water delivered to the lake, there's a few things that need to happen. But in terms of just cutting our water use, he says widespread, we'd have to cut our water use by about 40%.
Oh,
and
wow.
I know it's kind of hard to distinguish numbers because we use water for so many different
Right.
things, but we were requiring drastic cuts. Like it would take, like Ben gave me a couple of examples. Like in recent years, there was a year that Salt Lake City cut its water use by like 20%. Lehigh did the same thing. It would take that kind of immense conservation effort to start delivering that water to the lake. And also another thing he talked about that was important was a lake first approach. So like when you're budgeting every month, I mean, first thing that's probably going to go is your rent or your mortgage. You need, a roof over your head.
Sure.
He wants that same approach for the lake, like a lake first water budget.
Wow.
Let's set aside that 1 million acre feet for Great Salt Lake. And then from there, let's work with what we got. We can't let Great Salt Lake collapse. And of course we need to prioritize drinking water. So it's kind of a tough issue. And I see both sides of it, but like, Great Salt Lake is our way of life. It affects our snowpack. It affects a vast ecosystem that, birds from all over North and South America depend on. I mean, and obviously we talk about the dust that's blowing and could have, we don't know what kind of effects it's going to have on our health over time, but like it's a non-starter. We can't let the lake collapse. And those are things that Ben says we got to be taking drastic steps like that and making those tough water decisions. We need to do it quickly, especially if we want to pull off that effort of restoring the lake to its minimum healthy level by 2034. And for context, the lake hasn't hit 4198 feet, its minimum healthy level, since 2012. It's been that long.
Three words, Holly. Pray for snow.
Pray for snow. Look, if our listeners want to know more about your story, where can they go to find more information?
Yep. So I just finished probably the longest web script I've ever written since working here in 6 years. That's going to be on KSLNewsRadio.com, hopefully sometime in the next hour or two. So you can go there to get a full in-depth look at this. And as we've been telling listeners over the last few years, we're also a member of the organization, the Great Salt Lake Collaborative, where we partner with media outlets all over the Wasatch Front to have a free source of news so you can be informed on Great Salt Lake. So KSLNewsRadio.com, and as well as the Collaborative's website, GreatSaltLakeNews.org.
All right. Thanks for joining us. We'll be right back.
This is Colin Keary from the New Millennium Group. Have you ever had a question for your financial advisor only to find out that the next available appointment is months away? At New Millennium Group, we believe that financial advice should never be limited to once-a-year review meetings. Life happens every single day. Markets change, retirement questions come up, family situations evolve, and when they do, you deserve answers. That's why we pride ourselves at the New Millennium Group on being accessible when our clients need us most. Whether you're wondering about your investments or a major life decision, our team is here to help provide guidance. We're not interested in being the firm you hear from once a year. We want to be your trusted resource throughout your entire retirement journey. If you're looking for a financial team that values relationships, communication, and responsiveness, we'd love to meet you. Give us a call today at 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370, or visit us at utahsfinancialplanner.com.
The kids might be headed back to school, but summer's not over for your air conditioner. What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and we still have plenty of hot days ahead. So if you haven't had your air conditioner serviced yet, I got some good news for you. Today, Wednesday, August 12th, Any Hour Services is having a surprise one-day sale for any homeowners listening. Normally, we charge $124 to tune up your air conditioner, but if you call today and mention this ad, we'll tune up your air conditioner for only $29. That's a $95 savings. Call Any Hour Services right now at 801-443-7400. Manufacturers say annual maintenance can help your air conditioner cool your home better and prevent unexpected breakdowns. 801-443-7400. The biggest reasons people don't get their air conditioner serviced each year is they forget. So right now, while you're thinking about it, call Any Hour Services, lock in this $95 savings, and schedule your $29 air conditioner tune-up. Call Any Hour Services at 801-443-7400. You can Google Any Hour Services. You can even schedule online at anyhourservices.com.
We want you to join the conversation. Do you have an idea or a topic you think we should talk about more on this show? Let us know. You can send us an email at insidesources@ksl.com and tell us what you think we should cover. We're always looking for ideas, and we'd love to keep you, our listener, included in the chat.
KSL offers the best daily newsletter in the state. It's the 3 things you need to know. Every weekday, we deliver quality and relevant content to your inbox. No ads, no spam, just the 3 things you need to know to be informed about the world around you. Subscribe today. Visit KSLNewsRadio.com or text the word inbox to 57500. That's inbox to 57500.
Some of the most meaningful jewelry is the jewelry we never wear. It sits tucked away in a drawer. A ring from a grandmother, a pendant from years gone by. Pieces filled with stories, but not part of your everyday life. Duke's Jewelers believes those pieces deserve more. For over 75 years, Duke's Jewelers has helped families reimagine heirloom jewelry, transforming what once was into something you'll love wearing today and pass down tomorrow. Whether it's resetting a stone, redesigning a ring, or creating something entirely new, Duke's Jewelers will guide you through every step, right there in the store. And if you have jewelry that no longer fits your story, Duke's Jewelers also buys gold, offering a simple, transparent way to turn it into something meaningful again. Bring in what you have and create something you'll never want to take off. Duke's Jewelers on Main Street in Springville, where your story continues.
If there's one thing you can count on, it's 24/7 protection when you bundle home and auto insurance with Progressive. And if there's 2 things you can count on, it's your smoke detector battery dying at 3 a.m. Not 3 p.m. on a Saturday when you have nothing going on, but in the middle of the night when you're fast asleep.
Oh, come on!
Get 24/7 protection when you bundle home and auto with Progressive. Just one more thing you can count on. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The new Inside Sources.
So, as longtime listeners might expect, I have some major issues with this next story. According to the Associated Press, Immigrations and Customs Enforcement, ICE, will give agents gloves that can deliver electric shocks. I mean, are you serious right now?
Yeah, I've never heard of this, and it's a technology that I'm not comfortable with because if the glove has some electric shock, first of all, I assume the agent's insulated from it. But if another agent's got their hands on the suspect and you shock them, it's like those AED things. Everybody stand away. The shock's about to happen. You know what I mean? Those defibrillators. But you can't. I don't know how you could do that. Even if you're tasing someone, the other agents involved have to stand away because the shock could hurt another person. So I guess I'm concerned about the technology, and I sort of figured you wouldn't be too crazy about this either.
I'm not crazy about it. No, I'm not. And I'm looking at the AP article, and it says they have to touch the skin. And so maybe because agents have these gloves on and you know that they wear face coverings like you can barely see their eyes. So maybe that's how they avoid shocking each other. I don't know. But the idea that I can barely wrap my head around the idea that we're going to wear gloves that can deliver a painful shock that will stop somebody in their tracks. That level of pain, an electric shock coming through your gloves is like dystopian.
It is. And so what's also odd about this is it falls on the heels literally a day or two after we had another conversation about ICE agents getting body cams. In other words, they're coming into the 21st century 26 years later, and suddenly they're all getting body cams. Like, wait a minute. But then they're getting ahead of the game with these gloves. I mean, that's a technology that hasn't been proven yet. I mean, tasers are not new, but tasers are not gloves. And so I'm very concerned about this. But I also think one step at a time here. Let's get their body cams in place because what are we spending on these gloves? $20 million?
$20 million.
That's a lot of body cams.
For
and
a
that's lot of
no-bid
training.
contract,
Yeah.
by the way.
Well, I hope not.
No, it is a no-bid contract. They already know that, right? So it's going to a company called Compliant Technologies. So
that's a good name.
Right? I know. It says the devices function as a normal pair of patrol gloves until you press a switch to activate their electrical mode. And then the gloves have to be applied directly to someone's skin. But it, quote, and based on the name of the company, it helps an officer gain compliance within seconds.
Well,
what could go wrong, Greg?
I know there's a lot that could go wrong. However, I would say that tasers, although they have a lot of faults, it's really hard to get that little prick to get into somebody or to get through their clothes or something like that. And so maybe the glove gives you a little more hands-on, a little more ability to get to that. But they do increase compliance. I would say that, although tasers have had some bad effects as well. I mean, some people have had some real serious consequences.
Well, some people have died from tasers.
But
the electrical impulse.
For me, doing officer-involved critical incidents, a taser, or in this case, the shot gloves, are a less lethal way for law enforcement to handle a citizen that's non-compliant. I mean, it's those what happened in Minneapolis was unforgivable. Those two officers that were involved in the shooting. So we don't know everything that happened, but just the cameras that I saw made it seem like it was completely unnecessary to kill those two people. But had officers had this type of technology, that taser or the shot gloves, whatever they're called, maybe two people would be alive today.
So here's the issue, right? And I have a texter say, so you prefer a harpoon? Well, no. However, the manufacturer says the device should not be used as punishment against people merely exhibiting, and this is a quote, verbal defiance or belligerence, or on high-risk populations like children, pregnant women, elderly, or disabled people. I will just say this again, what could go wrong, right? If you've got agents, and we know agents are tackling people to the ground, we have seen agents having hands on bare skin. Is this going to incentivize them to pull the clothing up inappropriately,
to expose the skin?
To expose the skin. I see so many problems with this.
Or if you touch somebody in the face, which is the skin that's most likely to
and
be
where
visible.
You probably are not supposed to be using an electrical impulse.
Yeah, near the eyes or something like that.
So this was a statement from the Deputy Project Director on Policing at the American Civil Liberties Union. She said, first of all, why would the devices be necessary for civil immigration enforcement? And that why, she said, ICE has spent the last year showing this country they're too quick to use force. Now you can shock people with the push of the button that nobody else can see.
Yeah, I mean, look, it is concerning. I also think you've got officers who are learning two technologies now at the same time, the body cams and the gloves, and they're both coming into. I mean, body cams were way late getting the gloves. I would really like to see some level of testing on those. I'm sure that this agency, this group that's selling them, has tested them. But I mean, I am absolutely shocked to hear about this because I've never heard of it. I've never heard of this technology before. So I mean, tasers bugged me at first, but I've sort of grown to think, well, they serve a purpose and they've done some good, and I think that officers use them at the appropriate time when they need to. These gloves, I mean, for one thing, you can do a taser from a distance, but the glove requires hands-on. Literally hands-on. You've got to get your hands around somebody's skin and then activate it. You've also got to turn them on. They're not on all the time.
You've got to switch them
obviously,
on.
So
But maybe, I mean, so look, I can still see a scenario where you're saying, okay, I'm getting close. I'm going to switch it on because I'm going to go grab this person. So even the president of the company, president CEO, he said he expected the device to, quote, be misused by a small number of employees, right? I'm like, okay, right. You're right out of the gate. You're saying, first of all, there has to be robust training. Second of all, we do anticipate that this can be misused and will be misused. But to your point, has that ever been used before? It has. It's been used for people who are already in custody and like they don't want to get in the the van to go to jail or whatever. So
jailers
it's
use them. Yeah.
small. It's been a small subset. It hasn't been people like they're confronting on the street.
Yeah, because that's the situation that's a little different. If somebody's in jail and they're like, I'm not going to court today, and you say, well, yeah, you are, and you grab them and say, okay, we're getting in the van, they're going to comply. They're going to do what you need to do, because that's a more controlled setting. You've got other officers nearby. But what we're talking about here is a citizen who's in a car, perhaps, or other people around, other agents around, and you're getting into the fisticuffs, you're getting to the fight part, and then you've got this glove to try to contain it.
Mm-hmm.
How do you not shock yourself? How do you not shock the other agents? It's not a controlled environment at all. And none of them particularly all are, but this one, I mean, I don't know. I would have liked to have seen a little more study on this outside of the detention facility.
Well, to spend $20 million on this technology in a brand new scenario, right? So this will, I don't know. It's, I think, hugely problematic and again, an intimidation tactic, if nothing else.
So
right?
they're going to have body cams and these gloves, and they both have buttons, and you just have to make sure you push the right one.
The right one.
It's going to be a problem. Hey, when we come back in the next hour, we've got a couple of things. One, the Trump administration is struggling with their moves to reform voting. A judge now says the U.S. Postal Service does not need to follow the president's executive order on mail-in voting. Plus, thousands of students are back in the classroom today. More on back-to-school coverage coming up at 10:30.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
10 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Amanda Dixon. Our top story this hour, a proposed large amphitheater in Provo Canyon, backed by the Osmond family, went before the city council last night. The Vesper Amphitheater project is projected to have 20,000 seats, a hotel villa, restaurants, and retail space. The project's developers say it would turn an unsightly gravel pit into a world-renowned entertainment destination. People speaking against the project are concerned about traffic, noise, and environmental impacts. The Salt Lake City Council voted to go forward with a $13.79 million property tax increase. The council did face some pushback during the public comment period.
I can tell you, increasing the property taxes will not be good at all. We know that the increase of everything is up, everything. But if we do that, many people will decline in many ways.
The increase means that for a home valued at around $700,000, taxes will go up about $100 per year. A total solar eclipse is passing over parts of the world today. Portions of Russia, Greenland, Iceland, and Spain will be in full totality when the moon covers the sun.
It's definitely a historic moment because this is the first time since 1433 that the moon's umbral shadow touches upon this area. So we haven't seen this visual spectacle and this experience for 593 years.
Sevar Bragason is a science teacher in Iceland. Your money at this moment. Right now the Dow is up 39 points. We're at 53,831. Coming up, more thunderstorms ahead of a cool down. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 10:02.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
Looking to transform your kitchen or bathroom? Discover the difference at AMC Building Materials. New arrivals are here. Explore the latest shaker-style cabinets, sleek European-style flat panel cabinets, and beautiful new quartz countertops in today's most popular colors. With a 25,000 square foot showroom and a warehouse in Salt Lake City, AMC keeps a wide selection of the most popular cabinets and countertops in stock. So many in-stock cabinet styles are available for same-day purchase and pickup, making it easy to start your project right away. Enjoy factory direct pricing, free design, free in-home measurements, and expert installation. Most remodeling projects are completed in as little as 10 days. Visit the AMC Building Materials showroom at 3678 South 700 West or schedule your free estimate today at amckitchensaltlakecity.com. AMC Building Materials. Come see the difference today.
Hey Utah, have you heard? Nuclear energy might be coming to our state. Now, before your brain jumps straight into sci-fi movies, let's talk about what nuclear actually does. Nuclear technology helps power our nation's submarines, supports life-saving cancer treatments, and produces reliable electricity for millions of homes. That said, nuclear power also comes with some common misconceptions. Don't worry, we get it. Here's a fun fact. You're exposed to more radiation eating bananas than you are living near a nuclear power plant. And get this, a lifetime supply of nuclear energy fits into a single soda can. Despite what some people believe, nuclear energy is safe, clean, and incredibly efficient. But don't just take my word for it. Energy decisions matter, and Utahns deserve the facts. Learn more about nuclear and what it can mean for you. Visit energy.utah.gov/nuclear.
The kids might be headed back to school, but summer's not over for your air conditioner. What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and we still have plenty of hot days ahead. So if you haven't had your air conditioner serviced yet, I got some good news for you. Today, Wednesday, August 12th, Any Hour Services is having a surprise one-day sale for any homeowners listening. Normally, we charge $124 to tune up your air conditioner, but if you call today and mention this ad, we'll tune up your air conditioner for only $29. That's a $95 savings. Call Any Hour Services right now at 801-443-7400. Manufacturers say annual maintenance can help your air conditioner cool your home better and prevent unexpected breakdowns. 801-443-7400. The biggest reasons people don't get their air conditioner serviced each year is they forget. So right now, while you're thinking about it, call Any Hour Services, lock in this $95 savings, and schedule your $29 air conditioner tune-up. Call Any Hour Services at 801-443-7400. You can Google Any Hour Services. You can even schedule online at anyhourservices.com.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by UCCU. Auto loan rates as low as 4.74% APR. And here's Cormac Bone.
Pretty calm roads right now. Nothing on all your major freeways. Just some normal delays to expect, especially in Utah County. Eastbound on 2100 North, especially approaching 3600 West. And eastbound Pioneer Crossing, a little slow trying to get onto I-15. But otherwise, nothing too out of the ordinary to watch out for. I'm Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
We have a 30% chance for thunderstorms today. Most of those storms south of Salt Lake City with a high of 90. Only 81 tomorrow with a 70% chance of storms. Right now it's cloudy and 79 degrees. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
Well, the administration is 0 for 22 in their attempts to get access to voter rolls.
And to add to those losses in court, a federal judge has now told the U.S. Postal Service straight up to ignore the president's earlier executive order that would have barred the Postal Service from delivering mail-in ballots in states that refused to turn over their voter rolls to the DOJ.
Yeah, I mean, maybe this is a road that we just don't need to go down anymore. It's a real issue for the administration. I can understand where they're wanting to come from, but the courts are saying, look, first of all, stay in your lane. Mm-hmm. This is not something for the administration to deal with. I mean, states deal with time, manner, and place of voting. It's right there in that whole Constitution thing. Right. And Congress can make changes as they see fit if there are issues. But to say, you can't deliver ballots to states that don't follow the administration, the Department of Justice's request that you turn over your voter rolls. I mean, the post office wasn't very excited about doing that anyway, so they went to a judge, and the judge said, don't follow that order. It's not constitutional.
So one of the things I think is interesting about this is the administration has already said, well, we're going to go straight to the Supreme Court for a ruling on this. And it feels like that's what they do. They get slapped down in federal court, and so then they go to the Supreme Court. So the Supreme Court may be deciding a lot of election law over the next couple of years. I don't know for sure. But you mentioned the Constitution, and that's exactly what the judge cited, is you don't have any authority in the executive branch to control elections.
Right. And first of all, nobody's going to go straight to the Supreme Court. There are steps along the way.
Well, I don't know. They've already made an appeal.
A federal judge, well, they've got to go through the Court of Appeals first and take their steps. And they'll do that. But we're probably, I mean, this is something that's new enough that we're probably not going to get to the Supreme Court for 2 years. and we may not even have this rule in place in 2 years. Who knows? But I mean, we're doing a lot right now. We haven't got over the notion, and this is one that I guess I'll disagree with the administration on, that elections are rigged and that there's all this voter fraud. It just hasn't been proven. It's not there. It didn't happen. The 2020 election was decided. Let's move on. The 2016 and 2024 elections were decided. Let's move on, and let's give the states the opportunity to do what Utah, the reddest state in the country almost, has done for years, which is allow mail-in voting and do it in a controlled and a fair environment, and do so in a way that allows that the people's votes count and that they're counted accurately.
Yeah.
Utah is the perfect example. The nation should follow our lead.
So one of the things I guess to know is that one of the reasons they feel like they can go to the Supreme Court, they're calling this decision ripe, because the Postal Service did issue a rule that they would follow the executive order. And so this is right here, an article I'm looking at on KSL.com, says the Trump administration has asked the U.S. Supreme Court to put the earlier decision on hold, arguing the state's case was premature as agencies hadn't yet finalized plans to implement the order. And yet, then the U.S. Postal Service did create a rule. And so now this Judge Talwani said the case was ripe for a decision because they did propose a rule. And we're less than 90 days before the election.
Oh, yeah. I don't think there's any chance we're going to get a ruling from the Supreme Court the next 90 days.
I don't think so either. And, we talk to Kelsey Dallas often, and she's a managing editor at SCOTUS blog. She said the same thing earlier this week, where it can be years before you get them to come around. You've got the emergency docket. You do have that, but this could easily be something that's not decided until after this presidential administration is over.
Yeah, and the Supreme Court, even if they do want to jump in, we're talking about an administrative agency, the post office. I mean, it's not a. They're not talking about a state law.
Right.
Like they're talking about the federal agency. I don't know that you'd call a federal post office an agency. Nonetheless, it's a little bit different than some of the other administrative or executive orders that Trump has issued. So maybe there is a more straightforward path to the United States Supreme Court. But even then, they're going to want to get briefing. They're going to want to get information
all of those
from
things.
both sides. They're not going to want to
well,
make a decision.
Well, it's not going to impact this year's election.
In the next, we're 80, 90 days away from election,
yeah.
maybe even less than that. I don't think there's any way that can occur. It is an issue that probably needs to be dealt with at some point. Although, again, I would say this from what I said at the beginning, let's look at Utah. It's a problem that didn't need to be resolved because it's not a problem.
Yeah.
We don't have fraud in mail-in voting.
So it's also part of this. It feels like an ongoing crusade to get voter rolls, and every time we talk about it, I feel like I need to clarify. There are voter rolls that are available that include publicly available information, but that's not what the DOJ is asking for. They're asking for everything. They want name, rank, and serial number. They actually want your social security number. They want your name. They want your birth date. They want your election voting history. I mean, they want everything: email, phone number, address, right? And look, the federal government does have all that information anyway in other places, but they want to put it in this one centralized database. And Utah is one of the states. We haven't had a ruling here yet, but as you mentioned at the top of this segment, is the federal government, the Trump administration is now 0 for 22.
Yeah, can you imagine if we did put all that in one database and some foreign country hacked into that?
Right.
The havoc that you could cause. I mean, how virtually impossible it would be to hack into 20 or 50 plus states.
So it's not just the states, it's the counties who run the elections. It's 3,100 plus counties in the United States. So you'd have to hack into all of them versus one centralized location.
Yeah, let's keep it as spread out as we can so that the access is as difficult as possible, because we're getting foreign governments hacking into our water supplies.
I know.
If you had a nationalized water supply, so they get into some water agency in Utah. Well, that's terrible, but it's limited to a jurisdiction in Utah. You know what I mean? And this would be the same thing. So I think centralizing things, and it's not the way that we're going in this country anyway. It seems like in some respects we're doing so much to get things back into state control. and then we do something like this where we're saying, oh, wait a minute, let's have the feds jump in and take over this. It's inconsistent with some of the other things we're doing.
It is, and it's been an ongoing, interesting conversation too about elections. And when we come back, we're going to talk about some of the primary elections that happened yesterday. But I'll just say this: it is interesting to watch primaries this late. It feels like it's late, right?
We're not even
less
done.
than 90 days. We're not even done with primaries. We do that in Utah in a municipal year, but it feels so much of a crunch when you're talking about a governor's election, you're talking about Congress, you're talking about senators, right? Where people are still having primary elections. There were 6 yesterday. And in one of those cases, they're going to a runoff that will happen in 2 weeks from now, the very end of August.
And there are other states having theirs next week, too.
Yeah, that's right.
We're not done.
We're not even done.
Those poor elections clerks must be going, sure would like to know whose name I'm putting on these ballots.
Right?
That need to go out soon. They need to start getting those printed.
Yeah, so it's, again, part of the conversation. And I think this lack of certainty, right, it's hard for these county clerks to say we've got to print the ballots, not even in a regular year, but now when you're saying, oh, well, guess what? You don't get a vote by mail this year.
Yeah.
I think you can say with confidence that vote by mail is here to stay for the 2026 elections. Okay, as I mentioned, we're going to talk about the midterm elections that happened yesterday, and including whether it was a referendum on Democrats on how far to the left they want to move. Your voice, your vote. We're going to talk about what we learned from the elections after the break.
What if I told you that 4 weeks from now, so the second week of September, everything could feel different in your life? Your energy, your weight, and the way your clothes fit. That is what the SOTA Dynamic Diet is built to do. That's what it did for me. And right now, listeners of this program can get 4 free weeks when they call 866-800-SOTA and mention KSL News Radio. Summer is ending, and so is this offer. SOTA works like this. They teach you how to let go of the weight and keep it off for a lifetime without taking shots or pills. No lifetime dependency. This is just real food, real guidance, and habits that last. And by the way, you can buy the food at your local grocery store. They have a nutritionist that works with you, sends you a program, and the one that worked with me was awesome because we communicated regularly. She actually made me photograph myself standing on the scale so that I could show her that I was losing weight. I lost almost exactly 30 pounds in 7 weeks, and in the 4 months since, I've been able to keep it off. SOTA worked for me. It'll work for you. SOTA, say it with me, is state of the art.
It is hard to believe, but it's time for back to school. Now, we still have some great summer ahead of us and all kinds of things at NPS to make the summer complete, especially for our kids. The fun toys for the outdoors, the great treats for the picnics, it's all waiting for you at NPS. But for just a moment, let's focus on back to school. You know, it is getting expensive. That's why we need NPS. To get our kids back to school, why not save the money? 20 to 70% each and every day on everything at the 4 NPS stores. And then, this is what makes it so much fun and really puts the adventure into shopping at NPS. You never know when you're going to find one of those deals that offers an additional 30, 40, 50% off. The NPS stores are located in Orem, in Layton, and the 2 stores in Salt Lake. NPS, it truly is a nice place to save.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-330-8323 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-330-8323. That's 800-330-8323. What do you have to lose? Call 800-330-8323. Again, 800-330-8323.
Hi, I'm Maria Shilaos, and I'd like to tell you about my podcast, the KSL News Daily. Every weekday morning, we'll deliver one story explored in depth, plus the 3 things you need to know before your day begins.
But this is new. This is where we human beings are able to trick AI.
This is news with context from the journalists you trust.
Agencies were less than willing to speak with us about this.
Find and follow the KSL News Daily at kslpodcast.com or wherever you listen.
Jane is a small business owner. Tell them what that's like, Jane.
Yeah, well, it's like a roller coaster with a lot of ups and downs, and some days things can feel like they're flying off the rails.
Yep, it's a lot. But the Total Solutions Advantage only from Comcast Business can help you manage it all. With the largest, fastest fiber-powered network designed for 100% reliability with business internet and wireless connect.
Nice. So everything stays on track.
The Total Solutions Advantage. No one does business like Comcast Business.
The more solutions you add, the more you save. Get started today with a qualifying internet package for as low as $60 a month when you add an advanced solution. Plus, new customers, ask how to get up to $1,500 in prepaid cards when you add 2 lines of mobile to a qualifying gig bundle. Don't wait. Call today. Limited time offer. Restrictions apply. New customers only. 1-year agreement, paperless billing, and automatic payments with bank account required. $60 offer requires 300 meg internet, security edge, and additional qualifying service. Equipment, tax, and fees extra. Prepaid card offers end 9/13/2026.
Substance use disorder and addiction is so isolating. And so, as a Black woman in recovery, hope must be loud. It grows louder when you ask for help and you're vulnerable. It is the thread that lets you know that no matter what happens, you will be okay.
When we learn the power of hope, recovery is possible. Find out how at startwithhope.com. Brought to you by the National Council for Mental Wellbeing, Shatterproof, and the Ad Council.
Any Hour Services can make sure your AC keeps you cool this summer. Whether you need a tune-up, repair, or just a second opinion about replacing it, call Any Hour Services or visit anyhourservices.com.
Inside Sources.
During this primary election season, we've seen a number of Republican candidates as an example of how voters feel about President Trump and the MAGA movement.
And we talked about this yesterday, at least I did in my closing remarks, about whether or not we're going to see the Democratic Party moving further to the left, Republican Party moving further to the right, what the effect of that would be. We had 6 states that had their primaries last night. I want to talk about some of those now.
So your voice, your vote, what could yesterday's primaries tell us about the upcoming general election? So let's start with Lindsey Graham's sister.
You read my mind.
So it was interesting to me because, first of all, she was appointed to fill the rest of his term. You know, he passed away recently.
By the governor.
But he didn't pass away by the governor, but she was appointed by the governor.
Right.
Yes, but you know what was super interesting is she said, I will not run until she was sworn in, and then she said, I'm going to run. I'm like, oh, come on. Well, the president endorsed her, but she didn't win outright.
Right. So Republican longtime serving Senator Lindsey Graham, as we remember, passed away a couple of weeks ago. The governor of South Carolina put his sister in his place.
Yep.
And she was the leading candidate to come out of this. But I don't know. They must have you have to have 51%. So they're having a runoff. Yep. I think there were 4 candidates until this morning, and now there are going to be 2 that will run in a
right, the way the runoff works. Yeah, and that's the end of August, right? Before you even get there, August 25th.
I wonder what that campaigning must look like for her. I mean, she jumped in late, but she got the highest vote total of anybody.
Well, I guess I haven't looked into the money, but I'm guessing she got all of the campaign finance funds that were there from the previous senator, which happened to be her brother.
Yeah. Well, and come to think of it, it's not like everybody had a head start on her because nobody thought that Lindsey Graham was not going to run.
That's right. So they also had a very short campaign. That is true.
I don't know much about her, but Trump was quick to ask the governor to appoint her, so she must have had some political acumen and probably...
She had no political... yes, she might have, but she didn't have any political experience. So,
but I mean,
she is
they
now
didn't
a senator.
Just pull her name out of a hat. I mean,
no,
I don't know.
She was a it wasn't consultant. She was an advisor to her brother, right? But she hadn't held political office. She hadn't run a campaign before. But anyway, now she's a senator and she's in a runoff.
Probably a safe Republican position.
Yeah. So this is interesting too. So Minnesota governor. So there's, of course, right now they have term limits there. And well, actually, no, they don't. The current governor decided not to run. So for the Republican side, they had Mike Lindell, the pillow guy, running against, I think it was the Speaker of the House in Minnesota,
Lisa DeMuth.
Yeah, that's right. And Mike Lindell, my pillow guy, had the backing of the president. How do you think he did?
Well, so far the president's done quite well. I mean, almost 100%.
But he did not win.
Oh. She
won by 11 percentage points. I mean, it was not that close.
Right.
And it's, over 10,000 votes, closer to 30,000 votes. So what do you think his response was? Did he graciously concede defeat?
And go back to selling pillows? I hope so.
He did not.
Oh.
He refuses to concede and said there were voting irregularities in an 11-point spread.
Come on.
With tens of thousands of votes.
I mean,
he points to some polls and said, well, my polls show that I was doing well last week, so I don't know what's happened. You lost. That's what happened.
I mean, the votes were counted. Let's move on. I mean, you don't do that, Lindell. That doesn't help anybody.
Well,
and it creates concern about the system. I mean, maybe they do an audit and they find out that he's 100% wrong, and
he is 100% wrong. And he was asked if he has his own TV network, Lindell TV. So he was asked if he would concede the race if the Associated Press called it, and he said, "Why would I listen to the AP?"
Yeah, fake news. What's up with that? They've only been around for 100 some years.
Fake news,
right?
So Lindell refuses to concede, even though there's no way he can make that up. So one of the other things that's interesting, and this is the race in Wisconsin for the governor there. Do you want to talk to us about that?
Yeah, so this was one that we were watching really closely yesterday because there was a very popular Democratic socialist. We're talking about the gubernatorial Democratic primary for Wisconsin, which is a pretty purplish state, I think. And there was a woman named Francesca Hong who yesterday she was on every station, and she was the front runner. She was the darling of the election, as she was probably going to be the candidate, but a more conservative,
a moderate, not a far left.
Right? Yeah. David Crowley beat her, although the number is much closer than Mike Lindell in Minnesota.
But less than a half a percentage point.
But he did win, and it seems like she's taken the high road and is moving on. But it was a closely followed race, very closely followed race, because these Democratic socialists, and I did talk about this yesterday in my closing remarks, have come out of thanks to, who is it, Mamdani from New York, the mayor there. And of course it goes back to our Senator Bernie Sanders. There's sort of the idea of bringing a little more socialist approach to, like some of the European countries do. And our country's been really or reluctant, I should say, to join into that. I don't know how it's going to play in November, but in Wisconsin, it doesn't have to, because she lost and a more moderate Democrat came out, so he may have a better shot at winning. And this is the concern I had, is when we get some of these Democratic socialists on the ballot, and the Democrats are poised to win some big races, they may have shot themselves in the foot. Not at Wisconsin, it doesn't seem.
So I want to go back just briefly to the South Carolina race. So one of the other people in the race was Mark Sanford. Do you remember him?
No.
He was the governor who was hiking the Appalachian Trail, who was actually having an affair in Argentina or something in South America.
Wonder how he did.
So he did not do well. He finished fourth.
Out of four? Yeah.
Out of five.
Okay.
He finished fourth out of five. But look, it just, some of these races, it's fun to watch in other states because we don't have to get the political ads, right? So
right.
I'm sure the voters there were totally inundated, not innovated. I don't even know where that came from.
Both.
They were inundated by these campaign ads. And in fact, I saw even the Deseret News today is like, how political candidates are using AI to get to you. So they got lots of those. But those races, except for the one where they're going to the runoff in South Carolina, they were pretty much decided by last night.
So that tells me, Holly, that voters in Minnesota and in Wisconsin were listening to our show yesterday and said, Skordas has got a point here. We don't want to, the Trump-endorsed candidate might be a little too far right, and the Democratic Socialists might be a little too far left. Let's get more moderates in place and hope that we can win.
But it's funny. So you've got, so that's the governor's race. But in Minnesota, you have the lieutenant governor. Her name is Peggy Flanagan. She is further to the left. She's a progressive backed by Bernie Sanders. And her opponent was a centrist who was a 4-term House member, also a Democrat. They're running for Senate. Well, Flanagan came out on top.
Yeah,
so mixed bag.
Yeah, well, maybe voters are looking at the person too, and not just putting these labels on them.
Which you should.
And yeah, I'm encouraged by that. The Trump support has held very, very well. I mean, maybe the fact that this one that came out, that the pillow guy didn't work as well as he thought, but Trump has still been incredibly powerful, the Republican Party, in these primaries. I think I saw something they said, something like 98% of his candidates have prevailed. I don't know if that's true.
That seems unusually high, but
0% of his voting initiatives have prevailed so far. So he's done well with the voters, but maybe not with the courts.
So I just want to say Peggy Flanagan, the lieutenant governor, will face former sportscaster turned GOP Senate candidate Michelle Tafoya in November.
Oh yeah, I see.
That'll be a fun race to watch.
Football shows, yeah, good for them. That'll be fun. And we're I don't know, less than
3 months away.
Yeah. Well, let's take a break at the bottom of the hour, and when we return, we're going to go back to school and talk about our back to school on Inside Sources. Thousands of kids are back in class today in 2 of Utah's school districts. We'll have a chat with the Granite School District Superintendent about what they're seeing there in their district, my old district, when we come back.
10:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Amanda Dixon. Our top story this hour, a motorcyclist is dead after colliding with a Nissan. Ogden police say it was around the 1000 block of Wall Avenue last night. A Nissan Versa exited a parking lot, and the 63-year-old motorcyclist couldn't stop in time. They were pronounced dead at a nearby hospital. No impairment is suspected at this time, but the crash is under investigation. Our top national story this hour, some new economic reports were released this morning from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and inflation is about where economists thought it would be.
Prices for all items rose last month 3.4% compared to a year ago, a slight slowdown from the previous year-to-year figure. While the numbers mean that Fed managers are unlikely to lower interest rates at their next meeting, they're almost certain not to raise them either. The stock market has responded with a minor rally.
ABC's Jim Ryan reporting. The president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, Dallin H. Oaks, is headed to Brazil to dedicate the Belo Horizonte Temple on Sunday, August 16th. The dedicatory session will be broadcast to congregations inside the temple district. This is the second temple President Oaks has dedicated this year. In January, he dedicated the Burley, Idaho temple. Your money at this moment. Let's see where the markets are at this hour. The Dow is up 18 points. We're at 53,810. Coming up, slight chance for storms, mostly south of Salt Lake today. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 10:32. Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Thinking about replacing your windows? Choose the company that builds and installs them right here in Utah. Advanced Window Products is Utah's local window and door manufacturer that sells directly to homeowners.
Hi, I'm Nate Orchard, the mayor of Sac Lake City with Advanced Window Products.
At Advanced Window Products, there are no dealer fees, no middleman markups, and no extra costs to cover someone else's profit. From manufacturing to installation, every step is handled by Advanced Window Products' local team. Every window is custom built in Salt Lake City for Utah's homes and backed by one of the strongest warranties in the industry, a lifetime warranty covering labor, glass, and parts. Even better, it's fully transferable to the next homeowner. Right now, get $2,000 off when you purchase 10 or more windows. Financing is available, and Dominion Energy rebates may help you save even more. Call 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100. Or visit us at advancedwindows.com. That's 801-850-9100 or advancedwindows.com.
What keeps you up at night? Do you wonder if what you've saved will be enough? If your money will go as far as you plan? Or whether your retirement will look the way you imagine? What worries you? Everyone's concern is different, but ignoring it won't make it disappear. This is Ron Paul. You may not be able to predict what comes next, but you can take steps now to diversify your savings with precious metals before uncertainty becomes urgency. My friends at Birch Gold Group will send you a free info kit explaining how gold can help diversify your IRA or 401k. Just text the word SECURE to the number 989898. There's no cost and no obligation. Just free information to help you consider your option. Take the first step with Birch Gold. Text the word SECURE to the number 989898.
The Children's Center Utah provides a unique service in our communities by meeting the needs of very young children and their caregivers. Here's another Little Minds Big Hope message from Dr. Jennifer Mitchell, the Children's Center Vice President of Clinical Strategy and Innovation.
Did you know that frequent bedwetting can sometimes be linked to stress or anxiety in young children? When big emotions feel overwhelming, kids' bodies can respond in unexpected ways. Find out more at childrencenterutah.org.
The energy, the roar, moments you'll always remember. Next season, Jaren Jackson Jr. is hunting blocks. Laurie Markkinen is getting buckets. And Ace is just getting started. Don't just watch Jazz basketball. Experience every moment. 2026-27 season tickets are on sale now. Full and half-season packages available. Plus exclusive benefits like arena discounts and player events. Are you in? Join the climb today. UtahJazz.com or call 801-355-DUNK.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by UCCU. You deserve to love where you bank. And here's Cormac Bone.
Pretty calm roads all across the Wasatch Front. Just normal delays to expect in South Weber, both directions of Highway 89. Pretty slow at Harrison Boulevard and approaching the mouth of Weber Canyon. And in Salt Lake County, it's Bangerter Highway, both directions, and a little slow as you approach the 201 freeway. And then in Utah County, of course, it's in Lehigh, eastbound 2100 north, regular scattered slowdowns from Redwood Road over to I-15. At UTA, it's never just a ride from point A to point B. We move independence, we move purpose, we move memories, we move what matters. You. Plan your trip at rideuta.com. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
We'll have a high today of 90 degrees with a chance for storms, most of those south of Salt Lake City. 81 tomorrow with most of the state seeing some rain. Right now it's mostly cloudy and 79 degrees. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
Back to school. Special coverage on KSL News Radio.
So this is kind of a deja vu day for me, Holly, because Granite School District's started school today, and I am a product of the Granite School District. I went to Woodstock Elementary, Bonneville Junior High, and Cottonwood High School. All three of my schools and all 12 of my years were done in the Granite School District. So they started school today, and I didn't start with them.
No, and you haven't for a
long
while.
Time, right.
So, look, it's also Iron School District started today. So I looked up the numbers this morning. There's about 72,000 students between the two school districts. There are hundreds of thousands of students, though, across the state in the K through 12 age bracket where they're going to be heading back. There's a couple more districts that'll go back this week. And then a whole bunch of them will go back next week, and then a few more will go back the week after that.
I mean, I guess I'm naive, but I would have assumed that the state would have set the school schedule, but apparently it's done on a district basis.
Yeah.
So they can do that and say, okay, we're going to start this time, and then we can give our kids more time off for Christmas or whatever.
Exactly. I'll just give you an example down in our district. I told you it's Alpine School District, but a few years back they had a later start date in August, but they had quite a short Christmas break. I think if I remember, they went till maybe the 22nd. of December, and parents were like, this is not enough time for Christmas break. So they actually did a poll where they asked the parents, and I participated, would you rather start earlier and have a longer break? Would you rather go longer at the end of the school year? And what they settled on was start earlier in August, have a longer Christmas break, and then end before Memorial Day, which is what we do.
So it's interesting you mentioned Alpine because up until a year or so ago, that was the largest school district in the state. And I think that they voted there to split that district up. Is it now split?
So they have the 3 districts divided and named, and they have their staffed, is like they have superintendents and they've got a school board, but they actually don't take effect until next school year. So this is the last year of Alpine School District actually existing as a district.
As we know it.
Right.
Well, let's check in live with Ben Horsley. He's the superintendent of my alma mater's Granite School District. Ben, thanks for joining us again, and happy back to school.
Thank you. It's a great day, and I'm always glad to talk to a proud alumnus of Granite School District, a graduate of Granite.
There you go. There you go.
So tell us how the first day's going.
Well, I've been to 8 schools this morning, and the kids all look sharp, fresh, with their brand new outfits on, fancy hairdos. They seem excited. There is palpable excitement in the air, a lot of warm welcomes from teachers, a lot of good things happening. It's a lot of fun.
Did all of the schools kick off, Ben? Because we know there were some districts where maybe, for example, 7th grade started today, but the rest of the school will start in a day or two. Do you know of anything like that happen in Granite?
We do. We actually have Granger and Olympus High School piloting a freshman orientation day where the rest of the students aren't there, but it's a day totally dedicated to the incoming freshmen to kind of help them feel welcome, feel safe, get to know the building, get to know their teachers, and it's going quite well.
I actually love that. Okay, so you talked about the students, how are the teachers doing on the first day?
Well, they don't look tired quite yet. I
Not
was
yet.
talking to a Skyline teacher, and she's like, it's a great day. I'm so excited to see the kids. And I'm like, well, I'll check back at 2 and see how you're doing. She's like, well, definitely be tired, but it's a good tired.
How is the Granite District right now, Ben? I mean, that's a district that has been, when I went there, I went to Cottonwood High School. I think it was the largest by population school in the state. But that was, of course, back in the 70s. And Granite has sort of grown and shrunk. Even Granite High School was closed down a couple decades ago. How's the health of that district right now?
The overall decline, student enrollment is declining. It is a sharp decline. The fact is that many families cannot afford, a 2,000 square foot Rambler for $1 million, which our median home value continues to creep up and up. And we have a lot of mature neighborhoods, and it's just cheaper to move down to southern Utah County or northern Davis County. So we peaked at about 78,000 students in the 90s. We're at 52,000 students going into this school year. Within the next decade, we expect to be around 35,000 students.
Oh, wow. That is a really steep decline.
It is. We're literally going off a cliff over the next few years. You can see it in the kindergarten numbers and first grade coming in.
Does that mean that the number of schools, and I know this is a tough one for you, you've had to shut some down?
Yes, we've closed 7 schools in the last 10 years. We paused a study last year that would have potentially closed another 2 to 3 schools. We've actually contracted at our last board meeting with an outside consultant, independent from out of state, who's going to do a full-scale district-wide closure and boundary adjustment analysis during the calendar year of 2027 and make recommendations next fall, so a year from now, on what I expect to be a pretty aggressive plan to scale back on our facilities and close a number of schools. And so that would go into effect then again, if approved by the board, in the fall of 2028.
So pivoting back to first day of school, what is your message to the students? I'm sure you've been, shaking hands and talking to kids. What's your message to them?
I always ask them, do you know what a superintendent does? And they're like, no, I don't even know who you are. Why are you wearing a suit? And the answer is that my job's there to make sure that you're happy, you're safe, and that you're learning. And so as I spoke to kids today, I said our focus is on helping follow up to make sure you have what you need and that you have the support you need. We want every student in Granite School District to have a focused, individualized educational experience where they can thrive and grow at their own pace and with their own interests and achieve their own dreams. And so in reality, one of the big focuses that we've had this year is kind of scaling back on screen time and technology. We think that's going to be in the best interest of our kids to limit that. There's some new legislation that ties to that, but Granite has gone even a little bit further. We obviously piloted some of the bell-to-bell cell phone bans a few years ago, and so I'm looking forward to see what kind of outcomes we get as a result of kind of getting back to an analog component of making sure we have quality instruction.
Okay, I have a selfish question, Ben, but my three schools, Woodstock Elementary, Bonneville Junior, and Cottonwood High, did you visit any of those three today of the 8 that you saw?
I started off this morning at 6 a.m. With Dr. Pitcher at Cottonwood High School. And
all right. And they hung up on him. That's what they used to do to me when I'd call Cottonwood High School. Well, good. I'm glad we started at 6 a.m. at Cottonwood High School. Yeah, and that was my alma mater. I love that school. I still sort of support the school and kind of watch them as they've grown. And we had a lot of kids that were bussed in from Taylorsville area at the time until they built Taylorsville High School. And we were big. It was a big school. We just had our 50th high school reunion.
One of the things I love about Granite, and I'm sure it's challenging, but I also think it's got to be rewarding. They have over 100 languages spoken within their school district.
Yeah.
And they have by far the largest population of refugee students that they are working with. And I love that they do that and create a community not only for the kids, but for their families as well.
Yeah, and fun fact for me, my mother graduated from Granite High School. It doesn't exist anymore. But anyway, and Ben did visit apparently not only my high school, Cottonwood, but my junior high, Bonneville. So yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Back to school for me as well, kind of.
We want to keep the conversation on back to school going. So after the break, we're going to talk about ways that technology is and is not being used in schools this year. Stay with us.
If you're ready to buy a home or sell a home and you're worried about the current real estate market because of what you've heard from some of your friends or family, well, we're here to tell you that you really shouldn't be worried because now is a great time to buy and sell with our friends at the Stern Team, powered by Almada Real Estate.
And here's why. Buyers have more options due to increased inventory, which gives them the power to negotiate for repairs, interest rate buy-downs, and closing cost assistance. While at the same time, sellers are still getting top dollar for their homes, with home values that are higher today than ever before. So whether you're looking to buy or sell, the current real estate market presents a win-win opportunity for both buyers and sellers.
But you still do want to make sure that you're working with a team of real estate experts you can trust that can get you some great results. And that's our friends at the Stern Team, powered by Almada Real Estate.
They have helped thousands of Salt Lake City homeowners, and they're ready to help you. To get started, just go to sternteam.com. That's sternteam.com or Google the Stern Team.
Sign up for KSL Text Alerts. Get breaking news and traffic updates by texting the word news to 57500. Want access to exclusive contests? Text contest to 57500. Jazz fans, text the word jazz for breaking jazz updates. And Cougar fans, text BYU to 57500 for the latest on the Cougars. Message and data rates may apply.
Well, breaking news doesn't wait, and neither should you. Get immediate news alerts anytime news breaks. Download the KSL News Radio app for free for breaking push alerts on your phone, or subscribe to our breaking news text line. Just text news, N-E-W-S, to 57500 and get started. KSL News Radio, your home for breaking news.
The kids might be headed back to school, but summer's not over for your air conditioner. What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and we still have plenty of hot days ahead. So if you haven't had your air conditioner serviced yet, I got some good news for you. Today, Wednesday, August 12th, Any Hour Services is having a surprise one-day sale for any homeowners listening. Normally, we charge $124 to tune up your air conditioner, but if you call today and mention this ad, we'll tune up your air conditioner for only $29. That's a $95 savings. Call Any Hour Services right now at 801-443-7400. Manufacturers say annual maintenance can help your air conditioner cool your home better and prevent unexpected breakdowns. 801-443-7400. The biggest reasons people don't get their air conditioner serviced each year is they forget. So right now, while you're thinking about it, call Any Hour Services, lock in this $95 savings, and schedule your $29 air conditioner tune-up. Call Any Hour Services at 801-443-7400. You can Google Any Hour Services. You can even schedule online at anyhourservices.com.
Your best years aren't behind you. They're right here at Trio South Ogden. Discover independent living services that embrace aging as an opportunity to lean in, not step back. To pursue passions, not retire from purpose. Here, life is bright, colorful, and unapologetically fun. Move in, thrive on, because aging doesn't mean changing who you are. It means having more time to be exactly who you are. Schedule your tour today at trioSouthOgden.com.
Progressive knows you've never met Channel 6 meteorologist Daniel Hughes, but when he says it'll be sunny, you trust him. After all, he is a weather professional who knows how to use a green screen and probably went to weather school. You never went to weather school, so you hit the farmer's market in your convertible. Turns out Daniel Hughes is not dependable, but Progressive is. So bundle your home and auto insurance and get 24/7 protection and reliable coverage. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Sleep Number's new collections are designed to adapt to the changing nature of your life and your sleep needs. Whether it's the personalized comfort of the Comfort Mode mattress, the targeted pressure relief of the Comfort Next mattress, or the Climate Collection that actively cools or warms to help you fall asleep and stay asleep.
And now, get early access to our biggest sale of the year. Save 25% on the new Comfort Next Luxe for a limited time. Only at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com.
As veterans, we're no strangers to helping others.
It's what we were taught, trained, and told to do.
It could be for anything. Helping a friend move.
Listening to a fellow veteran for hours, at any hour of the day.
Or just simply making time for people. A neighbor, a loved one, or even a stranger.
We're often the first to help others. There's no question about it.
But we do have one question for the veterans listening.
When was the last time you reached out for help?
Perhaps it's time to do for yourself what you would do for others.
If you or someone you know needs resources, whether it's for stress, finances, employment, or mental health, don't wait. Reach out.
Find more information at va.gov/reach. That's va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
An expanded Inside Sources.
So we've been talking for the last couple of weeks really about back to school. And today September, by the time we get there, school's already been in place for a couple of weeks, right? Utah kids pretty much will all be back in class by the time we hit September.
Yeah, and a couple of the districts started today, Holly. One was my former district, Granite High School. And we just spoke with their superintendent, Ben Horsley, who visited, I think, 8 of the schools, including 2 of mine, and said that things are robust there. They're doing well, and the teachers are excited. Iron School District in Cedar City, Iron County area started up today, too. So just 2, but out of several.
Several more tomorrow.
But several more tomorrow, and kind of by about a week from today, I think everybody should be up
Almost
and running.
Everybody will be in. There's some the very last week in August. But look, so we want to continue our back-to-school coverage, and it's we've talked multiple times about technology in the classroom, and it's not just a discussion that's happening locally. In fact, we just heard from Ben Horsley that they want to go to analog, like they want to get away from some of the tech even in the classroom. While I just took my junior high student to check out her school Chromebook, right? So they're not getting away from it down in Alpine School District. But in any case, across the country, there are definitely discussions about getting away from the screen.
Yeah, and as quickly as arrived, summer break is coming to an end for millions of American kids, like you just said, across the country. ABC's Jim Ryan says the new academic year is just starting.
Replaced by wake-up alarms and tardy bells. Parents can help to ease the transition by setting an appointment with their kids.
If they can have just a 30-minute parent conference, just knowing what the schedule's going to look like.
Behavioral health consultant Harley Hawkins says caregivers set the tone.
The more relaxed we are, the more information we can take in.
Both at home and in the classroom. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
So how did your wake-up call go yesterday?
Well, she's not getting up early yet. So that'll be next week. Yesterday was after our show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I know you weren't back to school, but you went to the school yet. But it
we
wasn't
went
an
to
early
the
morning
school
thing.
after, so she has to get up early and get on the bus on Tuesday. So ask me on Tuesday how it went. It'll probably go good, right? It's a couple of weeks in when she starts having trouble getting out of bed.
Well, as you know, getting kids ready to return to the classroom involves a lot more than just buying books, backpacks, and other new clothes.
Yep.
ABC's Jim Ryan says the emotional preparation should be as high on the priority list as going back to school shopping.
Mental health specialists say it's important for parents to read their kids' emotions, but not necessarily to give in to them.
It's so tempting as a parent to say, oh, okay, we'll take a mental health day today and be able to go tomorrow.
Pediatrician Dr. Molly O'Shea says that seems like a reasonable way to deal with a return to school.
When actually that reinforces the anxiety and makes it even harder to go the next day.
Crucial to a successful start to the academic year, cycling your kids' bedtime back from a summer break schedule to the earlier wake-up time. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
I'll just say this. So we have been talking about people, two different people about their recommendations, and it's always a recommendation to get your kids back on their sleep schedule for back to school. Never one time ever in my history of being a parent has that been successful for me, and I'm almost 40 years in of parenting.
I have to say that one of the funnest things I got today was a text from my son walking his 4 kids to school, and at least the 3 that were going to the grade school, the other ones in junior high, but just walking there, and they're, I mean, there's nothing cuter than a kid going back to school for their first day. I don't care if it's yours or the neighbors, but they've got their fun clothes on, and they all look all pretty, and a month from now they'll just be wearing whatever.
Regular,
but
yep.
they just, everybody looks so darling.
It is fun.
Such a fun picture.
It is fun, and we do the back to school pictures too, which are the beginning of first grade, 7th grade, whatever. I started doing them when I was in school, and it's like first day of 21st grade. Right, it was like there's a lot of school.
Yeah.
But look, Jim Ryan just did the story about the emotional preparation, but we talked at the very top of our show today about anxiety. And one of the things with this study about anxiety and how many kids are feeling it is they actually mentioned the emotional backpack, right? The weight of the emotional backpack. So we think about how much can these little kids carry in these backpacks, but we also need to think about what emotional weight are they carrying around in those backpacks as well.
And it does seem like a lot of parents were really doing everything they could to make sure that the kids got back to school, that things were happy for the kids. And, you were very good about that. You seem to be very concerned about what your child was doing.
Yeah, and when I was talking with Amanda Dixon in the morning news earlier today, and she was saying, well, what do you do with these higher levels of anxiety? And I think we just heard from Jim Ryan that it's you've got to be able to read their emotional cues, but you also need to be able to encourage them to face their fears and to go, because there are some times where it is appropriate to take a mental health day, and there are some times where it's appropriate to say, you know what, you're going to have other situations in your life where you're facing scary things, and we can do hard things. But one of the things I'm doing with Jazzy is to get her prepared for the first couple of days of school by planning something fun after, right? So it's like the reward that you can look forward to, like you do this scary thing, and then even if it's hard, you've got this thing you can look forward to. That's one of the things we're trying.
So when does actual school start for you?
So on Tuesday, she'll be going for the 7th grade day. It's a half a day, but all the 7th graders go, and you can, they'll go to all of their 8 classes. So even though during the school year they normally will have an A day and a B day, they'll have an opportunity without the 8th and 9th graders there to walk around the school, familiarize themselves with the school. Very short classes because it's only a half a day, but that will start for her on Tuesday morning early.
You know what's funny or maybe ironic is when I went to law school, the first year students started a week early. In law school,
so
we're
that you
in
can
our
get used
20s,
to it.
so you don't get bullied. But I mean, I'm just kidding. But we went up there for a week, and we had the pre-whatever, and we even got graded for it. We
really
sort of writing and research, and so
wow.
that when the rest of the student body came a week later, we were sort of assimilated. It was funny because we're in law school.
That is funny.
We're adults, but
That
we
is
all
funny.
came back a week early.
You know what's interesting is down in Alpine School District, they do the reverse for kindergartners. So kindergartners start about a week later as the rest of the kids in school. So when they go back to the elementary school, you have 1st through 6th graders, and then the kindergartners come a week later. So I don't know if that's just a chance for the teachers to get acclimated or all the other kids to not worry about the 5-year-olds. I don't know.
I was sort of doing the math this morning because I do math a lot. It was 63 years ago, 6'3", when I started kindergarten.
Wow.
I mean, and I remember it.
Yeah.
I remember going to, I remember my mom dropping me off and saying.
I do have this fun fact. I went to kindergarten in Provo. No, that's not true. I went to 1st grade in Provo, Sunset Elementary. I had gone to kindergarten in Virginia, but they let me start early. And so I was 4 because my birthday's not until December. But because I had completed kindergarten, they let me start 1st grade here a year early. And so I was a youngin', but it was fun. I was 1st grade in Provo. So
yeah, that's
then we
fun.
moved,
I don't know. It just, I mean, even though I told you I had a rough year when I started 7th grade, I do have fond memories from my own children and myself going back to school, and the angst for me was only 1 year, but we did talk about parents having angst going back to school. I mean, financial anxiety, like, hey, your kid's got to have the best, the new stuff and the new cool stuff, and you know, if you can't afford it, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, I guess my anxiety this go round is really how Jazzy's going to settle in and acclimate to the junior high environment. Other than that, it's all good, right? It's like we can handle all this other stuff. We can do it.
Well, if we start the show next week, what day does she start? Wednesday?
Tuesday.
Yeah,
Tuesday.
if you're not here right on time, we'll give you a break.
You know what I'm
cover it.
telling? I'm telling my husband that he needs to work from home on Tuesday and Wednesday because I want him to be there as a resource if she has to go to the office and call and say, I'm crashing out, because that's what she says. I'm crashing out. So he might have to work from home to take that phone call.
I made that call from Bonneville Junior High.
See?
Anyway.
It does happen.
I survived, yep. Hey, well, in the next hour on Inside Sources, the defense for the man accused of killing Charlie Kirk is now disputing that the aggravated murder charge against their client Tyler Robinson was proven. What happened was, after the prelim, the judge asked Eastside to submit their briefs, and this defense submitted theirs yesterday. We'll break that down when we come back after this.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
It's 11 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Cameron Elliott. KSL's top story this hour: the sculptor of a 60-foot arch that was going to be placed near the Utah State Capitol says he's taking it out of the state. KSL News Radio's Don Brinkerhoff explains.
The model for this sculpture has been on display at the State Capitol building and shows several periods of American history, including the Revolutionary War, some pivotal moments from the Civil War, and the westward expansion depicted by handcart pioneers. The sculptor is pulling the project after some Capitol neighborhood residents complained about the possible increase in traffic and the effect the sculpture would have on green space.
This sculpture was meant to be a part of Utah's America 250 celebration. In other local news, the president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints turns 94 today. The church posted photos commemorating the day and says President Dallin H. Oaks celebrated his first birthday since becoming president with his family. Taking a look at your money at this moment, we've got green across the board. The Dow Jones is up 23 points. That's a fraction of a percent. The S&P 500 up 24. That's 0.3%. And the NASDAQ is up 173 points. That is nearly 0.7%. Coming up, we've got a possibly cold and stormy weather on the way. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 11:01.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
Did you know 96% of Americans lose an average of $111,000 in Social Security income? And it's because they claim their benefits at the wrong time. Don't lose $111,000 in Social Security income that's rightfully yours. Learn how you could wring every nickel out of your benefits on Retirement Solutions Radio this Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock. right here on KSL News Radio 102.7.
Amanda, every business needs IT help. And sometimes you've got that guy who already works for your company who knows how to do this stuff, but sometimes you don't. Or the guy who knows the IT stuff, that's not his actual job.
Right. So Les Olson IT they can be your 24/7 help desk. They can support your existing help desk. They can do advanced cybersecurity protection. Maybe just come and take a look. Are you subject to phishing or ransomware or other things? What are the cyber threats you're facing?
And you've got to make sure that your data is secure. So both cloud and data backup solutions, they can help you with that. Plus, everybody's got to use a computer. That's where hardware comes in, infrastructure support. You don't have to know all this stuff because Les Olson IT knows it.
And most of the time, they can help you fix whatever's going wrong remotely, just off your computer. Plus, of course, they have copiers and printers. They always will at the very best price.
Les Olson IT is your trusted local IT partner. They've been in business for 70 years, and they've got 9 locations from Logan to Las Vegas.
Find out more at lesolson.com.
The kids might be headed back to school, but summer's not over for your air conditioner. What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and we still have plenty of hot days ahead. So if you haven't had your air conditioner serviced yet, I got some good news for you. Today, Wednesday, August 12th, Any Hour Services is having a surprise one-day sale for any homeowners listening. Normally, we charge $124 to tune up your air conditioner, but if you call today and mention this ad, we'll tune up your air conditioner for only $29. That's a $95 savings. Call Any Hour Services right now at 801-443-7400. Manufacturers say annual maintenance can help your air conditioner cool your home better and prevent unexpected breakdowns. 801-443-7400. The biggest reasons people don't get their air conditioner serviced each year is they forget. So right now, while you're thinking about it, call Any Hour Services, lock in this $95 savings, and schedule your $29 air conditioner tune-up. Call Any Hour Services at 801-443-7400. You can Google Any Hour Services. You can even schedule online at anyhourservices.com.
Who is Farm Bureau Financial Services? At our core, we're relationship builders. We're home and auto bundlers, life insurers, farm and ranch protectors, and retirement planners. We're neighbors, community members, and friends. We're the people you can count on now and for years to come. Find a Farm Bureau agent at fbfs.com/protect. Farm Bureau Property and Casualty Insurance Company, Western Agricultural Insurance Company, Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by UCCU. You deserve to love where you bank, and here's Cormac Bone.
Roadways looking really good. All the freeways moving at freeway speed. No accidents or delays. Just slow in the normal spots, especially northbound Mountain View Corridor at 3500 South and West Valley. And in Lehigh, eastbound 2100 North, those regular scattered delays from Redwood Road over to I-15. Eastbound Corey Ride Highway, pretty heavy in that congestion where it meets up with Mountain View Corridor and Pioneer Crossing as well. For a limited time, tickets for most Utah Symphony Utah Opera performances are $29 or less. Don't wait, prices go up after August 15th. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
Today, the high is going to hit 90 with a 30% chance of showers before it dives to a brisk 81 tomorrow and then carries back up through the mid to high 80s through the week. Right now, though, it's 81 degrees and mostly cloudy in downtown Salt Lake City. I'm Cameron Elliott from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
Well, in a little bit of developing news this morning, the defense team representing Tyler Robinson, he's the man accused of shooting Charlie Kirk, has argued that the prosecution should not be able to push for aggravated murder charges, and they're asking that the judge take the death penalty off the table.
So that's interesting to me, and there was a new motion just filed this morning where the defense is saying there were no aggravating factors in the shooting of Charlie Kirk, and their client should not stand trial for aggravated murder and 6 other chargers. So you're the legal analyst here. Let's talk about this.
Yeah, so what happened was this, just to back up, the shooting occurred, the homicide occurred in September of 2025, September 10th to be exact, at Utah Valley University. Charlie Kirk was murdered there, and prosecutors have charged Tyler Robinson with that murder. They charge it as a death penalty case, which means the state has to prove what we call an aggravating factor. The state of Utah has they letter them, so it goes to like T, so whatever the letter T is in the alphabet. They have like 20 some odd different aggravating factors, maybe more. One of those, which was the one that was chosen here, is that the homicide was committed by a person who knowingly created a great risk of death to another other than Charlie Kirk himself. So in other words, they're saying of all the aggravating circumstances, they hung their hat on one, the state did, and that is that the killer knowingly created a great risk of death to another. So the defense isn't arguing that this isn't a murder.
Right.
In fact, they go through and say he was murdered. They don't say Tyler Robinson did it. Of course,
Right.
But they're saying, look, the murder part was proven. What was not proven was the aggravating circumstance. And so they're really pushing hard and saying, Judge, this is not a death penalty case.
Right.
And so and again, knowingly created a great risk of death to other individual. And what they do, Holly, it's kind of ironic a little bit, or maybe that's not the right word, but they focus on the fact that the shooter was a really good shot, and he fired only one shot, and
so that nobody else was actually at risk,
was
even though there were 3,000 people there.
Well, the bullet flew over all their heads, and so what they're saying was, it was a spot-on shoot, and that there was no high probability that someone else was going to get killed. In fact, they were saying there was almost no possibility that was going to. And the law requires that there be more than just a mere possibility.
Right.
What they're arguing is that the state has to show a high probability that someone else would have been killed. And what they're saying is there was no. I mean, they go through. They said this: the firing of a single shot at an intended victim that only hit the intended victim is not an aggravated factor merely because other people were in the vicinity. And they go on to say having a loaded
bless their hearts.
Having a loaded weapon, be nice, does not mean that the individual believes there's a high probability of missing and killing someone else. It only means that they have the ability to fire more than one round. So only one round was fired, and they said even though he had a gun that could have fired more, he didn't. He fired the shot, and it worked, and no one else was at risk. I know it's a stretch. I know.
Well, so there's a couple of questions. First of all, I mean, you've explained that really well, but isn't this just a preliminary hearing, and is there enough evidence to go to trial? Isn't that the stage we're at?
Is there enough evidence to go to trial as a murder? Yes. Is there enough evidence to go to trial as an aggravated murder? Probably yes. I mean, I'm going to say that the judge is probably going to say, look, you've made a great argument, defense, and you should make that argument in front of the jury. But for the purposes of a preliminary hearing, I only have to find that there's probable cause. I don't have to find that there's proof beyond a reasonable doubt that he created a great risk of death to others. Only that there's some probable cause. There's some reason to believe that. And by the way, the law requires that you find the evidence in the light most favorable to the state. So what is the state's theory? And if there's something to support that theory, the judge will typically bind the case over for trial. Doesn't mean that Tyler Robinson did it or committed a death penalty case. And I know a lot of our listeners are like, well, we have video, we have a confession, we have this and that. There's a lot to it, but it's a death penalty case, and so there's even the aggravating circumstance has to be proven beyond a reasonable doubt.
But it doesn't have to be proven at this stage, right?
Correct. No.
And so
Good point.
The state hasn't responded yet, but when they do, will they address this particular issue, or will they just say, look, there's plenty of evidence to take this to trial?
So,
do you think?
No, I understand. You say the state hasn't responded, which is exactly true, but the state did file their brief beforehand and sort of preemptively address that issue.
Okay.
I think they knew it was coming down. So they said, not only have we proved a murder, but here's how we proved the aggravating circumstance. They were
okay.
I mean, I think they had to argue
probably
it anyway.
Anticipating.
Right. But you're right. I mean, you're 100% right. The state will have, I think what the judge did was he said, okay, the state's got to get theirs in by July 28th. The defense has to get theirs in by August 12th. The state can have another week or two, 19th or whatever 2 weeks from today is, 26th, to get theirs in. And then he's going to have a hearing in September. I think it's actually the 1st, where he'll bring everybody in and say, I've read all your stuff.
And they each have 2 hours. Is that right?
He's going to give them another 2 hours to argue, which is painful. But anyway, I mean, it's good. The judge is really making sure everybody has their opportunity, everybody has their day, which is what he's required to do. He's doing a good job. I didn't mean to say it was painful. It's just that this isn't it's a jury case. Let's face it, this is a case that's probably going to have to go to the jury. But I think the defense took their best argument and made a very, very compelling argument for their best argument, which is that this is a murder. It's just not a death penalty murder.
Yeah. Okay. So that's where that sits. You know that I'm teaching at UVU right now as an adjunct. I will in the fall. UVU is not holding classes on the 1-year anniversary, which is September 10th. They will hold no classes on that day. They will have a day of service, and they will have people available to speak with students, but they're not holding classes.
Yeah, that would be the 1-year anniversary, and that may be an annual thing. I mean, I would hope not. But I guess in reverence to the occasion and to the individual who was killed, having that day off probably makes sense. I also think because just exactly what we're talking about here, Holly, that there were, I think, something like 3,500 students there. That means a lot of people were affected by it. And anyone who saw that was affected by it. I intentionally didn't watch the video and never will, because everyone that's told me about it said it's horrible.
Yeah.
I've got enough things in my mind that I've seen over 40 years of practicing law that I can't get out. I don't need to have that one in there as well. But it was an awful thing, and you see someone killed, you see a video of someone literally being killed. It messes with you. And if you're there in person and you're listening to someone speak, and all of a sudden that happens, and then just the chaos afterwards. I mean, the fact that someone just fired a gun, and someone was just killed, and I'm sitting here in the open air. You know what I mean? That had to be frightening. People running, they don't know where to go, they don't know where the shooter's coming from. That had to be very traumatic for a lot of people that were there.
Yeah. So as I said, UVU is closing down campus for that day. There will be no classes, no assignments due, and they will use it as a day of service, which is interesting because it's the day before 9/11, which is also a day of service. And so people will have an opportunity a couple of days in a row and even into the weekend to provide service for their community.
Oh, I just noticed one thing that I stated wrong. The state has until August 18th to file its rebuttal. So the judge just gave them a week to get that in. And then they're going to have a hearing on September 1st where the judge will hear argument. Then he may rule that day, or he may come back another day for his decision. His decision will be either I'm binding it over as a murder, let's go to trial, or I'm binding it over as an aggravated murder, let's go to trial. And then he'll set dates and motions and things like that.
All right. Thanks for that. After the break, we are going to combine a couple of topics, politics and AI. How are politics changing because of AI fact-checking? That's super interesting. We're going to talk about that when we come back next.
Looking to transform your kitchen or bathroom? Discover the difference at AMC Building Materials. New arrivals are here. Explore the latest shaker-style cabinets, sleek European-style flat panel cabinets, and beautiful new quartz countertops in today's most popular colors. With a 25,000 square foot showroom and a warehouse in Salt Lake City, AMC keeps a wide selection of the most popular cabinets and countertops in stock. So many in-stock cabinet styles are available for same-day purchase and pickup, making it easy to start your project right away. Enjoy factory direct pricing, free design, free in-home measurements, and expert installation. Most remodeling projects are completed in as little as 10 days. Visit the AMC Building Materials showroom at 3678 South 700 West or schedule your free estimate today at amckitchensaltlakecity.com. AMC Building Materials. Come see the difference today.
This is Colin Keary from the New Millennium Group. Have you ever had a question for your financial advisor only to find out that the next available appointment is months away? At New Millennium Group, we believe that financial advice should never be limited to once-a-year review meetings. Life happens every single day. Markets change, retirement questions come up, family situations evolve, and when they do, you deserve answers. That's why we pride ourselves at the New Millennium Group on being accessible when our clients need us most. Whether you're wondering about your investments or a major life decision, our team is here to help provide guidance. We're not interested in being the firm you hear from once a year. We want to be your trusted resource throughout your entire retirement journey. If you're looking for a financial team that values relationships, communication, and responsiveness, we'd love to meet you. Give us a call today at 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370, or visit us at utahsfinancialplanner.com.
One of the things that I've referenced on this show a number of times is the newsletter I put together every day, and that is Utah Policy. So if you are a news and political nerd like we are, you want to make sure you're subscribed to this newsletter. So it starts with a list of local and then national news, the stuff that really makes an impact on your day. It's easy to scan. Plus, you get a little bit of fun because I always include a dad joke. Just go to utahpolicy.com and hit that subscribe button.
What if you had the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi and the price didn't change for 5 years? Guaranteed. Well, thanks to Xfinity, you don't have to worry about that part of your future now through August 24th. Get their best price on gig Wi-Fi this summer before it disappears. Just $50 a month for 5 years. And get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. You're guaranteed 5 years of super intelligent Wi-Fi that keeps you protected from online threats and finds and fixes issues before you even notice them. No annual contracts or commitments, no hidden fees, and the best equipment included. Plus, get Peacock Premium included for 2 years. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Get it now at Xfinity.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Speeds vary. Use of fiber coaxial cable. Learn more at Xfinity.com/same-day Wi-Fi. Xfinity. Imagine that.
Summer gave us vacations, backyard cookouts, afternoons by the pool, and memories we'll be talking about for years. But it also gave our homes muddy footprints, food spills, pet accidents, everything that comes with a summer well lived. Before everyone settles back into school and busy fall routines, give your home the summer send-off it deserves with Zero-Res carpet and air ducts cleaning. Using patented technology instead of sticky soaps or harsh chemicals, Zero-Res cleans carpets and air ducts the right way. That means carpets stay cleaner longer, dry in hours instead of days, and it's safe for kids, pets, and your HVAC system. Upgrade your 3-room special for free. You get a 4th room clean for free with your 3-room special when you use code UPGRADE. You'll also get 20% off air duct cleaning with code DUCT20. Keep the summer memories. Get rid of the summer messes with Zero-Res. Call 866-ZERO-RES or visit ZeroRes.com. Spelled the same forwards or backwards. Zero-Res is the right way to clean.
Hi, I'm Maria Chaleos, and I'd like to tell you about my podcast, the KSL News Daily. Every weekday morning, we'll deliver one story explored in depth, plus the 3 things you need to know before your day begins.
But this is new. This is where we human beings are able to trick AI.
This is news with context from the journalists you trust.
Agencies were less than willing to speak with us about this.
Find and follow the KSL News Daily at kslpodcast.com or wherever you listen.
Any Hour Services can make sure your AC keeps you cool this summer. Whether you need a tune-up, repair, or just a second opinion about replacing it, call Any Hour Services or visit anyhourservices.com.
And expanded Inside Sources. Inside Sources.
So one of the things that we do in political campaigns, right, is fact check our opponent or our competitor. So here's an interesting question for you. Would you rather have it be a human fact checking you or AI? And our listeners can weigh in if they want to. They can text 57500.
Yeah, let us know. Would you rather have a human or an AI fact check your statements? A new article from the Deseret News asks this exact question. There are pros and cons to both sides of the argument. So let's talk about it. If you're watching a debate or you're watching a conversation, which would you prefer?
And I think you see that, right? I mean, right now, when you have like the big televised debates, you will see sometimes people will fact check in like real times. Like, yeah, no, that's not a thing. That didn't happen, right? Or that's only partially true, right? In fact, I see that afterwards. So I'm trying to think. I personally... I think I lean towards human, but because you can't take the bias out of AI either. And so I don't know. I mean, I think that's an interesting question.
Yeah, but I guess to me, I'm thinking the same thing. I'm watching 4 screens right now, and I'm thinking if all 4 of those are watching a debate and they're fact-checking through their human nature, I'm going to get different responses because, let's just be honest, one of them is Fox News. CNN, News Nation, and I don't know the political angle of some of those, but I know Fox News just from my own.
And CNN, right? And they're opposite ends.
So maybe the human component of it would be less reliable because of the human the source.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes,
If
and
you're-
I also think they might use different AI platforms
Right.
that already have a particular bent.
I guess the idea would be that AI is objective and doesn't take politics into consideration. Of course, that's almost impossible. But I would also say this: it seems like you have to fact check AI. I mean, everyone is saying, don't write your legal briefs with AI. You have to fact check everything. You have to go and read everything that it produces. So I don't know that I guess I'm still leaning toward the human part.
I know, and I probably am too. But this is the Deseret News article, and it's interesting because they're talking about a recent study, which I didn't even know they had done this until I read this article. More than 15 large language models. They had them try to accurately identify whether a claim was true or false. They were limited in their ability to do that. They just had a really hard time. And some of these models, they were equipped with advanced reasoning, and I'm putting that in quotes because they don't reason, they're not human, and web search capabilities. They still had a hard time as AI models trying to determine whether a statement was true or false.
But that makes sense because you are making a subjective determination, and it's hard to think of a robot doing something like that. I mean, fact checking, saying if somebody says, in 2023 Minnesota found for the Republicans by 10%.
Sure,
that's pretty easy to verify one way or the other.
Yeah.
But if it's like I have done more for this country in terms of my proposing legislation than anyone in history, I don't know. How do you prove that?
Right. Well, the author of the study did speak to the Deseret News, and they said when the models did not have to stay with verified sources, then they didn't give as accurate answers.
Sure.
But when they went to sources that had been verified, right, that there was some sort of assurance that they were providing accurate information, then they did really, really well. And so one of the things that this author of this story said, so if you have to have human input to tell AI where to go to find accurate information, why do you use AI as a middleman? Well, because there's more than one thing to consider.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think it's interesting. And AI can't opine about things. They can give you it'd be interesting also if you had several chatbots or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
AI sources watching a debate.
Yeah.
You might get, just as you would watching CNN and Fox News, you might get two different versions.
Right. But what's interesting also, and this is one of the things that the article points out, is you can have AI basically scan a lot more information than you can as a human, right? They can fact check more claims. They can do it faster, right, and do it in real time or almost real time, right? And that's something where an AI fact checker might have an advantage over a human.
Oh yeah, because you could do it in real time. You could do it
and
lot faster,
much bigger, right?
Right. Yes. Right. And you'd be more accurate probably. That's so interesting. I'll tell you what, AI is just going in directions nobody ever expected.
I
know. To where maybe AI starts second guessing people. Maybe it'd be interesting to watch a debate that was being overseen by AI and have it. This is untrue, or this statement is not accurate. And
there is actually a program already. It was created by a University of Southern California computer science student. It's called In Truth, and it fact checks politicians in real time. And then it's just a Google Chrome extension. You just put it on your computer, but it labels the claims true, false, or unverifiable. But the person who created this said they wanted to make sure that there was a place where you could get accurate information quickly, because they said the information environment is so fraught with misinformation and lies. So they're saying their product, they think, is even though it's only a few weeks old, it already has tens of thousands of average weekly users.
Well, and it can do a much, much broader search in a shorter period of time.
Yeah.
So in that respect, I think it does make sense. You're changing my mind even as we're going along here, because I thought it's got to be a human, but a human's going to go, whoa, wait a minute, I'm going to have to research that.
Right.
You're not going to get real time.
Well, and even then, even if you're saying, okay, I've got to go be able to say, at least if I were fact checking, which I haven't done really, as far as like fact checking debate to be able to come back and say, I do fact check. I do that all the time. But if I'm going to go make my case that this information is not accurate, a lot of times it's not that it's complete falsehood, but that there's only a tidbit of truth in that, right? Or it's like it's only part of the story. And so as a human fact checker, what I'm doing is trying to say, okay, well, here's the overall picture, right? Here's what you need to know. That takes time, right? It just takes time, and it takes some nuance.
And how do you, what is the truth? I mean, I don't even know if some statements that can be fact checked. You know, I was the smartest president in our country's history. Like, I don't know, how do you fact check?
Well, how do you fact check the IQ of George Washington? We don't know.
Right. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, it's just interesting, and we know that AI is being used with political ads. Certainly, AI is being used to help politicians write speeches. There's no question that's happening. And in fact, it's interesting because I've seen some of the jobs that people feel like are being replaced by AI do include some of these, right? Whether it's a speechwriter or somebody's coming up with graphics, or all of that is being it's all being funneled through AI. Maybe not every campaign, but a lot of campaigns are running it through AI right now.
And, you know, I also say this, AI or not, I think a lot of people just need to make their own decisions, because if you have pundits telling you that's not true, or AI saying that is true, I mean, when we do jury trials, we don't have lie detector tests. We don't have people saying what's the truth. You say, members of the jury, you heard the evidence.
Yeah.
Make your decision.
Sure.
You bring your common sense to the courtroom, and you decide.
Yeah.
Jury trials will never be overcome by AI. I mean, it's never going to happen. Well, knock on wood, not in my lifetime anyway. But I just don't see it happening. At some point, you have to rely on people that can make rational decisions on their own and say, you know, I was there. I know what happened. I'm not going to have to fact check everything that these politicians are saying. Because let's be honest, debates are a lot of fluff anyway.
It's really hard to get into a real policy discussion when you have 60 seconds.
Right.
Because policy is nuanced and the process is nuanced. It's not black and white. And when you do a debate, you're like, okay, here are my 60 seconds. Give me an answer. What do you think about this? Well, that's what we have in our country right now. And so they will do their best to weigh in on policy. But I'm telling you, it's a lot more nuanced than it seems. And so you're right. You're barely touching the surface. And the stuff you get in the mail, they know you have 7 seconds to hold it in your hand and throw it in the trash can.
Well, let's hope that we do have AI following some of these debates and some of these conversations in the future, and let's follow along with what it says. And when we come back on Inside Sources, July almost broke some heat records. It seemed like it probably did break a few. It was also wetter than average. We'll chat with our KSL weather team after the break about the wet cool down that we have coming, thank goodness, for the next week. Stay with us.
It's 11:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Cameron Elliott. KSL's top national story this hour from ABC News. Sources are telling ABC News that there might be a plea deal in the works for the federal case of Luigi Mangione. This is the jury in the state case is expected to be anonymous. ABC News legal contributor Brian Buckmeyer explains why.
It's a lot more than just a homicide case. It has other implications that people have jumped in and have a conversation about this case, especially around the healthcare system. People are pro and for his actions, and I don't think you want that scrutiny levied upon the jurors who don't deserve that.
Mangione is accused of shooting and killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson back in December of 2024. In local news, inflation slowed in July, falling 0.1% from June. However, prices are still higher than they were when the war with Iran began in February.
And so what the Fed strives for is 2%. Last month, we got 3.5%. In July, now it's saying 3.4%. That's still way above. That's almost 50-60% higher than target, which is showing that the prices are accelerating faster than the Fed would like.
That's Dr. Michael Kofed, Associate Professor of Economics at the University of Tennessee at Knoxville. He tells Inside Sources there's always going to be some inflation because we want the economy to grow. He says deflation would send home prices falling. Taking a look at the markets at the moment, the Dow Jones is up 14 points. That is a fraction of a percent. The NASDAQ is up 169 points. That's 0.6%. And oil is down just 9 cents. Coming up, expect some cooler weather tomorrow. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 11:32.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
Summer is wrapping up, and so is Soda's 4 free weeks offer. This is the last time for the summer. Grab it before summer is over. No injections, no awful side effects, just a natural way to lose weight. This is Greg Skordas, and I lost weight through Soda, and it was a great program for me. Call 866-800-SODA and mention KSL News Radio, and you'll get 4 free weeks free right now. You can learn how to keep your weight off through their Soda nutritionists who help you get to the root causes of your challenges. You learn lifelong habits that last long after the program is done. No lifelong medications, no injections. Weight loss medications can cost a lot, and for many people, the bill does not end. Soda is different. Degreed nutritionists help you get to the root causes of your challenges, guide you one-on-one, teach you lifelong habits so you can lose the weight without signing up for a lifelong bill. I personally lost over 30 pounds in just 7 weeks through Soda's plan. It was a great program for me, and it is for you. Soda is, say it with me, state of the art.
Hi, how can I help? Well, my husband and I feel like we've outgrown our current money manager. I see. Our lives have changed, and we need something more than just mutual funds to help us in retirement.
She's right.
I hear that often. At Fisher Investments, we'd start by getting to know you, your finances, family, health, lifestyle. We tailor a portfolio around your goals and needs.
Sounds good.
Can you help with estate planning? Yes. We have a team of specialists who can help you with estate planning, Social Security, investment income, and more. We'll get to know your whole financial picture and help keep you on the path to a comfortable retirement.
And your fees?
We have a simple, transparent fee that's a percentage of the value of your portfolio. So we do better when you do better. I feel better already. At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com/different. Investing in securities involves a risk of loss.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 877 Cars for Kids to speak to a friendly live agent. Donation is super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Go to carsforkids.org now or call 877 Cars for Kids to donate your car today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids.
Did you know you can donate real estate too? Go to carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by UCCU. Learn how to save more this summer at uccu.com. Here's Cormac Bone.
I-15 still looks good between Ogden and Provo. No accidents or delays both directions, but we do have a crash westbound I-80 right as you go under Bangerter Highway. And they are in the right shoulder. Looks like there's some light delays as you transition from southbound I-215 near the airport there. Otherwise, it's just regular slowdowns to look out for in Utah County, both directions of US 6 near I-15 at Canyon Creek Parkway, seeing some normal congestion. And, of course, Pioneer Crossing, both directions right near I-15 as well. Attention property managers, customers see your parking lot before seeing your lobby. Make the first thing unforgettable with GoPave Utah. Seal coating, cracked ceiling, striping, patching across the Wasatch Front. Visit at gopavutah.com. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
Today we got a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms. Highs are going to be in the upper 80s with some sun peeking out from behind the clouds. Tonight and tomorrow morning, we will likely see scattered showers, and you can expect a daily high of just 80 degrees. Right now, though, it is currently 81 degrees and mostly cloudy downtown. I'm Cameron Elliott from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
Well, we just heard Cam Elliott tell us that there's going to be a little bit of a weather change here
Yay.
in Utah. A cooler temperature, a little bit of wet weather just around the corner this week.
Look, I am really, really excited. Fall has always been my favorite season, and mostly because I don't love summer. So the lows coming up are going to be really feeling nice, I think, in the mornings, and it's going to be nice after July. It was pretty warm.
Yeah, but we're still in August. In fact, we're still in the early part of August, so there's plenty of heat left for us here. But any break, I think, is going to be great. We went up to the Arts Festival in Park City this last weekend, but for a little bit of a cool breeze, it would have been miserable, but it was actually very pleasant up there.
You know, I think this is the type of year that it's called false fall, or maybe it's the first fall. It's not even fall, but it's like just a little reprieve. Well, we have with us Matt Johnson, KSL meteorologist. Thanks for joining us, Matt.
Yeah, you're welcome. Kind of nice to see a little change in the weather pattern here.
So tell us about it.
So nice.
What can we look forward to?
Well, we've got some thunderstorm chances. We had some hit and miss storms yesterday. We got another round today. But I think tomorrow, likely, not only the Wasatch Front, but statewide, should see a pretty good chance for some thunderstorms. And some of those could really pack a punch. And a third straight day by Friday. Still isolated storms. So but, nice to see the rain, or so the chances for it being very elevated, instead of the 20 to 30% chances. Tomorrow I'm going 70.
Is there a time of day that these are more likely to occur?
Yeah, probably afternoon and evening, probably between the hours of 2 and 7 p.m. is your best window.
See, because I need to pick up a motorcycle tomorrow, and I'm thinking I could be in trouble here.
Yeah, if you're riding at home during the wrong hour, it
get a
little wild.
So I want to ask you about how July ended up, because it did feel really, really hot.
Oh my, yeah. We broke our all-time record, which, we've kind of tied the 107 mark in Salt Lake City a couple of times in the last few years, here in the 2020s, if you will. And before that, we had only seen it once or twice before.
Yeah.
Once in the 60s, and then maybe again, if my recollection serves me right, in the early 2000s, maybe. But
yeah, like 2004, because I was pregnant that summer. I remember.
There it is.
There you go. You would know.
It's true. The human gauge is there as well. But, to hit the 109 mark, we have not seen that in 152 years of record keeping. So it's definitely significant. And it wasn't just Salt Lake. We had some other big-time records broken across the state. So it's to have July turn out that way and also be warmer than normal by a large margin. It was funny to have the contrasting statistic that we actually finished above normal in Salt Lake City for rainfall. So,
wow.
How about that?
Yeah.
Is
there, interesting.
I know every year is different, and this year was incredibly hot, but is there a time after which you might expect no more 100-degree temperatures? I know December we're in pretty good shape, but I mean, do you? I know this is a crystal ball that nobody. But do you think we'll get another 100 before the end of this month?
That's a great question. With the way things are looking in the long range, I don't want to speak too soon, but I would say we have a pretty low chance of seeing 100 degrees, simply because if you look at the next 7 days, we're barely going to hit 91. That's our warmest in the next 7. Next week, I have a little more monsoon moisture streaming back in. That'll keep temperatures down.
Yeah.
And then by that time, we're pushing and we're getting close to September.
Yeah.
And usually September, we ride off the triple digits. Can we still see 100 in early September? For sure. But it becomes increasingly much more difficult as we get close to September.
So I used to be able to look up at the mountains from my house in Pleasant Grove, and usually by my son's birthday, the one that I was pregnant with in 2004, he was born the end of August, and I could see leaves turning on the mountains. The last couple of years, it's been a little later than that, but it feels to me like by the time we hit the end of August is when we start to get those really different nighttime temps. It feels different, smells different.
Yep. We're starting to lose daylight, so there's more time that the sun's down, so we do naturally cool a little bit more. We'll get these monsoon storms that help to cool the air. It's not uncommon for even mid to late August start to see some of those maples turn over, especially the ones that are a little more drought stressed. But kind of an exciting time of year where we start to get that sweet spot in the temperature department.
Yeah.
Pick up on some rain. Yeah. And then the colors before we know it
that's
start
right.
to change up top.
It seems like we start our program every day. We didn't today, thankfully, with Fire Watch. And I'm just wondering if any of our fire authorities have reason for optimism that sort of the mountainous ranges where some of the fires are. Do you think there's going to be a break for some of those in the next few days?
Oh, most definitely. And we already have just within the last 2 days. Some of the reports coming from those crews on the ground saying, and we don't think about this when you live in the valley and just go about your everyday, but even the increased cloud cover and moisture content of the atmosphere alone suppresses fire behavior, right? The fire doesn't go out.
Right.
But when we get cloud cover, slightly cooler temperatures, longer nights, all the above, these small things that might seem minute to us are actually helping those firefighters to get a little better handle on the fire, simply because it's not behaving so extreme.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I'm also going to go a step further and say we got pretty good rain chances up there for firefighters. We just don't want the flash flooding.
Right.
But the rain chances are increasingly quite high as we head into tomorrow for all fires across the state.
Well, you mentioned the fire watch, so I'm going to just give you updated numbers. 838 fires this year, 532,000 acres burned in Utah. So we'll see. Maybe we will not be record-breaking for the amount of acreage burned this year.
So let me ask you this. We've only got about a minute or so left, Matt. But you did talk about moisture and you did talk about flooding. Are there some areas that may want to be concerned? And I don't need you to define them, but do you think there's the potential for some moisture that's more than just a couple drops that could create some flooding conditions?
Most definitely. Today's going to be isolated pockets of heavy rainfall, even with some of the storms that might try to fire up around the Wasatch, but specifically southwest Utah. There's ample moisture available for these storms. That heavy rain is definitely a threat for the burn scars and slick rock areas.
Right.
Tomorrow, it's more of a statewide risk, and not just around burn scars, but maybe even some isolated pockets of urban flooding, but definitely high risk tomorrow, moderate risk today, in and around those burn scars.
So I have one last final quick question. When you're talking about urban flooding, is that a factor of how fast the rain comes down, maybe more than even the total?
Correct. And and that's kind of what I was getting at is I think tomorrow's storms, that'll be a little more widespread, better dynamics atmospherically speaking, and just higher threat for heavy rainfall is that those rainfall rates will likely be quite high in some of those storms. And it doesn't matter if you've got the drains cleared or there's no slick rock or anything.
Right.
It's going to accumulate fast. So.
Yeah, right. And it'll
me
smell
feel good about my motorcycle. Picking up a bike tomorrow afternoon. Well, I have to work on that.
All right. Well, thanks, Matt. Matt Johnson, KSL meteorologist. In our final segment for Inside Sources, some happy birthday wishes are due. And speaking of rain, the skies are actually raining meteors, but in a good way, not an Armageddon way. So more to come next.
The kids might be headed back to school, but summer's not over for your air conditioner. What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and we still have plenty of hot days ahead. So if you haven't had your air conditioner serviced yet, I got some good news for you. Today, Wednesday, August 12th, Any Hour Services is having a surprise one-day sale for any homeowners listening. Normally, we charge $124 to tune up your air conditioner, but if you call today and mention this ad, we'll tune up your air conditioner for only $29. That's a $95 savings. Call Any Hour Services right now at 801-443-7400. Manufacturers say annual maintenance can help your air conditioner cool your home better and prevent unexpected breakdowns. 801-443-7400. The biggest reasons people don't get their air conditioner serviced each year is they forget. So right now, while you're thinking about it, call Any Hour Services, lock in this $95 savings, and schedule your $29 air conditioner tune-up. Call Any Hour Services at 801-443-7400. You can Google Any Hour Services. You can even schedule online at anyhourservices.com.
More than 50 million Americans suffer from a form of mental illness.
And Utah isn't immune, with nearly 1 in 3 people dealing with anxiety, depression, or another form of mental illness.
But there's hope. We can all take action to keep ourselves and our loved ones safe.
That's why KSL has teamed with the Huntsman Mental Health Foundation to bring you hope and help you thrive.
It's Healthy Mind Matters.
Find out more at healthymindmatters.com.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group, and I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney, and the truth is I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney, I apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. After 15 years and over 50,000 cancellations, I can tell you with confidence, we know how to get you out of your timeshare. Call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit guide absolutely free with all your options for cancellation. Attorneys, this was meant to be funny, so please don't sue me, especially my friend Kenneth from Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-881-8686. That's 800-881-8686. 800-881-8686.
911, tell me exactly what happened.
My son and his wife and their 2 children haven't responded.
Susan Powell disappeared on a snowy morning in 2009.
Your wife is missing, Josh.
Yeah, but
And you want to think about it for a couple of days?
The podcast, Cold, has gone deep on these kinds of stories.
I'd had this overwhelming feeling that he had done something to her already.
Clearly, something happened on that couch because he cleaned it.
Find and follow Cold wherever you get your podcasts.
If you're in the market for a new vehicle, start at Performance Automotive in Bountiful. Browse a large inventory of Ford, Toyota, and Honda vehicles, plus hundreds of quality pre-owned options. Whether you're upgrading your daily commute, looking for more space for the family, or ready for your next truck or SUV, the team at Performance Automotive can help you find the right fit. Visit Performance Ford, Performance Toyota, and Performance Honda today, or shop online at performancebountiful.com.
This is Derek Miller speaking on business. Blue Sage Longevity Labs is helping people take a proactive approach to their health by offering innovative wellness services that support energy, recovery, and overall well-being through personalized solutions. Senior Development Specialist Dallin Downing joins us with more.
Blue Sage Longevity Labs is redefining the future of wellness by bringing together advanced longevity therapies, regenerative medicine, and medical aesthetics in a premium, membership-based franchise model. Designed for today's health-conscious consumer, Blue Sage offers innovative services including hyperbaric oxygen therapy, red light therapy, hormone optimization, and more. These services are delivered in a luxury wellness environment focused on personalized care and measurable results. Our franchise model is built for scalability, recurring revenue, and strong operational support, creating opportunities for healthcare professionals, entrepreneurs, and investors looking to enter one of the fastest growing sectors in wellness and healthcare. As demand grows for preventative, non-invasive health solutions, Blue Sage is positioned at the intersection of longevity science, technology, and consumer wellness trends. The company is expanding throughout Utah and across the country, seeking qualified partners passionate about helping people live healthier, longer, and more vibrant lives. Learn more at bluesageinc.com.
By making advanced wellness services more accessible, Blue Sage Longevity Labs is helping individuals take meaningful steps towards healthier, more energized lives. I'm Derek Miller with the Salt Lake Chamber, speaking on business.
Inside Sources.
Well, it's kind of cloudy, so I do love the rain, but it might make it hard to enjoy the spectacular show in the skies tonight.
Yeah, apparently there's a meteor shower.
There is.
I love those. I mean, if the weather holds up for you. They're no fun if it's cloudy.
I know. So, fun fact, when my husband and I were first dating, he took me up Provo Canyon to watch a meteor shower. I did not think that he legitimately wanted to watch the stars, but he did.
You're like, hey.
So we're talking about the Perseid meteor shower. It's been going on the whole week. Tonight's supposed to be peak viewing if you can see them. It really is fun. I enjoy seeing the meteor showers.
You know, and we live in an area, Holly, both at our home in Eden and our place down in Capitol Reef, where you have, it's called their night sky areas. I mean, you can see the sky in such incredible ways. So I look forward to it. I used to, as a kid, we would have sleepovers on nights like this. We'd sit in the backyard and just lay on the grass and watch for the meteors and point them out. And it was exciting.
Yeah, it's way better than the disaster movies, right, where they're coming to hit the earth.
Yeah.
It's just fun to watch.
I was a nerd. I even had a telescope.
So, this, we won't really be able to see it, although we've been watching it on the screens today, but there's a total solar eclipse in part of the world, and so people are watching it, I don't know, it's a quarter maybe.
And so think if you had, it's in Europe, I think, and there was something in Norway. Think if you had, made this big trip, you're going to go watch the solar eclipse. You fly to Norway, and there's a thunderstorm.
Cloudy. I know. Well, that has happened. So
we had one not long ago here. that was
Yeah.
really exciting, and it did get very dark. It was fun.
Yeah, it is really fun. Well, I have some fun facts today.
Good.
We do have this little song. Maybe we have a song.
See, Britt kicked me out of my chair.
I
Normally
know.
I would play this.
Okay, that was the Tabernacle Choir singing Happy Birthday. Today is actually President Dallin H. Oaks' 94th birthday. That seems young. Happy birthday to President Oaks today.
That's wonderful.
It is. Today on this day, I have so many fun facts today. I don't think we can cover them all. But it was on this day in 30 BC that Cleopatra died. So I've been reading a little bit more about Cleopatra. You know, she had the story about how she had a poisonous snake bite her. And people nowadays, scientists are like, yeah, that's not actually probably what happened. But she was a very powerful queen at the time, right?
They now think she was murdered?
No.
Or natural causes or something?
No, but that she probably chose a different method of poison, maybe not trying to get a snake to bite her.
Right.
Yeah. So it was on this day in 1851 that Isaac Singer received his first patent for a commercial sewing machine. So Singer sewing machines. Oh,
Like,
sorry.
What do you think he did?
Oh, yeah,
Sewing
sorry.
machines.
Yeah, sewing
My
machines.
mom always had a Singer.
Sewing machines. So it was on this day in 1898 that Hawaii was formally annexed to the U.S. So we talked about in July was the day where the president signed the annexation order. Well, in 1898 on this day, they held a ceremony at the Iolani Palace. So I don't know if that was necessarily a good thing or not, but it did happen on this day. We've got a couple car-related ones, which I thought were interesting. So it was in 1908 that Henry Ford built the first Model T.
Oh, wow.
1 year later, in 1909,
He built the second one.
no, the
Assembly line
the
wasn't
Indianapolis
working very well.
Motor Speedway first opened.
Oh, wow.
1 year later.
Yeah.
I just thought that was so
That's
interesting.
way cool, right.
So I thought this was interesting too. I remember, of course, The Wizard of Oz from my childhood and how it goes from black and white to color. It premiered in 1939. It was already an old movie when I was born in the 60s.
You know, just to digress for a minute, the Utah Symphony did a play. They played one day, and we watched and they played the music for it. So they had this big screen. We watched The Wizard of Oz, and the Utah Symphony played the music. And I'll never forget that experience. It was just, if they ever did something like that again, I'd go. But it was really something to see.
That is really fun. So it was on this day in 1955 that President Eisenhower raised the minimum wage from 75 cents to $1 an hour. I don't know that we've gone that far.
they haven't gone too
but
much
in
since
50,
then.
yeah. It was on this day in 1981, which I think is super interesting. The personal computer came to market for the first time. IBM released its model 5150. So this working machine had a floppy drive, remember those?
Yep.
A monitor, which was not color, 64 kilobytes of RAM, and it cost around $3,000 in 81. That would be $11,000 in 2026
And it
dollars.
was the size of a giant screen, today's giant screen TVs.
It wasn't quite that big, but it was really
Pretty
big.
big, right.
It was really clunky, right? And it had this tiny amount of memory, and we just thought it was the best thing ever. So
Yeah, I studied computer science as an engineer, and we had the computer lab was this giant room.
Yeah.
It was just this huge room.
Well, I'm going to date my husband here. He's turning 65 this year. When he started doing computer programming in college, he was up at Ricks College, it's now BYU, Idaho. He programmed on punch cards.
That's what we
you
did. Yeah.
literally had to have them. I was like, that blew my mind. Like
And
if
if
you
they-
dropped them,
Oh, I know. If
your
they fell
whole
out of
program
order,
is out
you
the
were
window.
done. Yep, and it did happen to
That's
us.
right. So this is sad news, but it was on this day in 1985 that the world's worst single aircraft disaster occurred. It was a Japan Airlines Boeing 747. It crashed into a mountain. It killed 520 people, but there were 4 survivors.
I don't remember that at all.
That was really, really bad.
I was thinking it must have been 2 aircraft, but a 747 is the size of 2 aircraft.
Right.
That's horrible.
So in 1990, Sue Hendrickson discovered a Tyrannosaurus rex in South Dakota, and it was one of the most complete skeletons in the world. They named it Sue in honor of Sue Hendrickson, who found it. And then you probably remember this one, and this will be my last fun fact. Professional baseball players went on strike in 1994, And it brought the season to the end. There was no World Series that year.
It was
remember?
awful.
94.
It was awful. And then, and it was the precursor to other professional sports organizations going on strike.
Yeah.
And I think we learned a lesson that, in some respect, and this isn't what I wanted to talk about, baseball didn't recover particularly well from that. I mean, people said, okay, I'm not going to watch it anymore. And they didn't. And they didn't come back. I think that Major League Baseball made some huge mistakes there. Well, I'll tell you who hasn't made some mistakes, and that are the attorneys that are arguing both sides of the Tyler Robinson case. And I just wanted to talk about it briefly because we have talked about it. The preliminary hearing was held, and a lot of people are like, well, what's the big deal? It seems like a pretty straightforward case. And in some respects it is. But the law has nuances that the judge really has to weigh here. And when the state decides, as they have here, to make a murder case an aggravated murder case, they have to prove an aggravated circumstance, and there are numerous to choose from, but you have to prove it. It's part of the case. People think, well, every murder is an aggravated murder. How could you do a nice murder? Seriously, people tell me that all the time. Well, under Utah law, if you knowingly and intentionally cause the death of another person, that's called murder. That's about as bad as it can get. But in order to be an aggravated murder, there has to be some other thing that happened, another bad thing that occurred. Let's say you did a murder during the course of an armed robbery, or let's say you killed two people, or that was murder for hire. There are all kinds of very defined ways that you can make a murder into an aggravated murder. And the state in this case said that he created a grave risk of death to others other than himself and the person who was ultimately killed. And I'll just be honest with you, and a lot of people are saying, well, there were 3,500 people there.
Right.
When this case was being charged by the Utah County Attorney, and I love Jeff Gray, he's one of the best prosecutors in the state, I think he had a tough decision to make. And I know that it's a preliminary hearing and it's going to be probably bound over, but a jury's going to have to take a look at that and say, did he in fact create a grave risk of death to others? And please don't send me texts and say, well, you shoot a gun into a crowd. That's one thing. But did he? I mean, I think that the defense is making a good argument. I don't know that it's going to fly, but when you have a case like this and people are saying, how can they make these arguments? How can you do this? How can you make that? It's because the law allows it. So when the defense makes an argument like this, it's because they can, and they can do it with a straight face, and they can do it with the support of the law. And as I read their motion to not bind it over, I thought, it's a good motion. It's not something that you're just pulling something out of the air and hoping the judge will bite on it. Let's take a hard look at it. And when they get to the closing arguments with this jury in a year or whenever it happens to be, they're going to make the exact same arguments, Holly. They're going to say, this is a murder, it's bad, you should find him guilty. But in order for you to find the death penalty applies, you have to find this aggravating circumstance beyond a reasonable doubt, all 12 of you. It's going to be a close case, I think.
All right. Thanks for those closing arguments. That's it for Inside Sources. Utah's New News is up next with Britt Johnson in for Maria Chaleos. Stay with us on KSL News Radio.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Good afternoon. KSL News Time, 12 o'clock. Utah's new news starts now. I'm Britt Johnson in for Maria Chaleos today. KSL's top story this hour. The defense team for the man accused of killing Charlie Kirk is arguing that Tyler Robinson is not eligible for the death penalty and should not stand trial for aggravated murder. KSL News Radio's Adam Small has details.
Tyler Robinson's defense team has filed a new memorandum with the judge arguing the state has not proved the aggravating factors needed to try someone for aggravated murder. KSL legal analyst Greg Skorda says the state's argument hangs on whether the shooter endangered the lives of anyone else besides themselves or Charlie Kirk. The defense says they don't believe the shooter